Can't. Now, all enjoy. Have a good last race. That's crazy.
This car, and then like a month or a couple of weeks later, you think, oh no, actually, I'm going to get rid of this car.
Like changing cars, and I've never done that. Unless you're dirt rich and you're a car company.
There's a difference here though. If you're dirt rich and you keep multiple cars,
Yeah.
if he's kept most of these cars for different purposes,
Yeah.
you know, a family car, one that you can enjoy to just drive
Well,
like
yeah,
twat in.
I don't get it.
He's gone from having some nice cars. That van was one of his nicest cars, I
He's
think.
had
Yeah.
more cars than...
I prefer that van over the majority of his that.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's had more cars than a typical, like, a group of 10 people would have in a lifetime together. I feel.
Well, let's be brutally honest. When are you getting rid of that?
5, 6, 7 years from now, when it's dusted and it's fucking
And then you're gonna get
dead.
Then you're gonna get. Mate,
Short of
crazy.
anything that just happens now and it dies.
But that's what I'm saying. So you get rid of that in 5, 6 years' time. You get a newer Jeep or whatever you may get. And it's gonna last you another 5 to 10 years.
At best, when if you pass the age 20, drive to 70, you can have what, 5 cars in your lifetime, typically.
6 at most,
5,
depending
6.
on, you know, first car being a little cheaper
Yeah.
I
around.
don't know. 5 cars. I've had a Mini, the Mark II Golf, the Golf that was Mark IV, the grey one you saw.
Yeah, but how many of them did you
In
buy that was shit and you knew that they were shit?
All of them.
Yes, you
Those-
just brought
So
them
a
as a runner.
typical
three.
person
You
like
just brought
me,
them as a runner,
who's gone in
actually.
straight away with a decent car and decent money,
Yeah.
and will only buy decent
Okay, so
cars, because I'm not
2.
young.
2 for my decent cars.
The Citroen
In all
X.
fairness, the Skoda wasn't a bad car.
No, it weren't.
That's still running now.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yes,
So
it's
3.
So 3
Yeah.
cars. When did you pass?
I was 17.
17. Right. So in 4 years' time, 4 and a bit years' time, you're 37. That's 3 decent cars that you've had.
I would say
one every 10
I
years.
would say someone could have 10.
Yeah.
10 to 15. And that's
Yeah,
that,
I feel
yeah, I think 15's a push, but someone that likes their cars. You look at my dad, for example, when he was younger, he had a lot of cars. So going by someone that
Yeah.
started at,
Yeah.
at
You know what I
17,
mean?
I think 15 is a reasonable number.
Yeah, but the older you get, the less you
I
get
feel
from
like
cars.
he's at
Unless you
10.
use them, aren't you?
I feel
Yeah.
like he could get through 10 in a year.
He's got
Yeah,
through.
probably already
He's
has.
on about his 6 now, at least, from what I saw.
And how long do you reckon he's going to be in that? 'Cause that's bang.
That's going to be a little run around for now, so we get a bit of money behind him, and then we're going to buy something.
How the fuck are they going to get a bit of money behind him?
They always seem to fucking find a way
How
of
the
getting
hell
some
do they always
fucking
land on
money.
their feet? Because I mean, I know that they've gone through that thing where they move the credit so that they don't have any, and yet they still manage to get credit better than I do.
Yeah.
How long have you got before you're starting?
I mean,
My mum's gone with a vet to have this, like, part of this test done for courses for doing nails. So my mum's had her nails done. And even my mum's like, she's like, look at these, like, this one looks okay. The red, they are bad.
Oh, they?
Yeah. They are shockingly bad.
tell you now, do you know that business like they took out? That was phone calls.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm at,
Yeah, and they've just fucked it all up.
when you
Yeah.
said about how much you can get by that time you come round, that was for the calls.
100%.
That's a joke.
Fine,
What's
enjoy.
Jam doing?
No worries.
Is
Jam
he
can do
alright
whatever.
being quiet or?
He's alright as long as he's quiet, yeah.
That's what I always do.
This
Jam.
door's gonna need locking.
Do you do it?
Yeah, I do me.
Can you hear me, Kelly?
Yeah, I could hear the conversation in the background. It said something about having 5 or 10 cars in a lifetime.
Yeah.
I've got 8 now.
Yeah, but you've got a load that you've got in one use, haven't you?
What do you mean in one use?
So you've got a load that you've got like now, so that, you know, if you needed to use them, you could use them, sort of thing. You know what I mean?
I've got 4 on the road, 3 on the road, 3 that are taxed.
Bryn's had about 6 in a year.
Yeah.
And Rob would just come round. He's basically driving around in some old Ford estate car now, right? It looks a piece of shit. And they won't insure him a long-term insurance for a year or something because of how many insurance policies he's took out over this year.
Yeah.
So he's now got to do it weekly.
Yeah.
So
and he's starting to think. They're starting to think he's trade.
Yeah,
If he keeps changing like that, yeah.
Why the fuck is that doing that? Oh no, that's actually all right. Why is it?
Yeah,
no, it's not all right. Why is that doing that?
What's doing what?
The YouTube isn't going full screen properly. Why?
The holding screen looks fine on my screen.
My stream from personal use that we then put on the Streamlabs isn't going full screen. So what I'm about to transition to, it isn't transitioning over properly. So let me just copy that and properties, delete, paste. I should bring that back up. Thank you. Interact. There we go. It's done it now. Fuck knows. Right. Okay. I'm gonna go live in 5, 4. Good evening and welcome to Simplay Motorsport. It is the season finale here at Donington Park, and we are live bringing you all the action of what should be a fantastic end to this season. 3 drivers, only 2 realistically can win this championship, but stranger things have happened in the past. This man, Kieran O'Reilly, is the man that leads the way. 42 points clear of the man currently sat in the pit lane. That is of Ben Rook. We'll change the camera angle so that you can see him. There he is there. And then it's this man, Dan Davis, in 3rd place. 108 behind, mathematically can win it. Stranger things have happened. Dan's going to need a miracle. And seeing as we'll speak about it, the gold battle is on. Now, all the talk and discussion late in this season has been about how gold and bronze could become their own championships, their own unique championships next year. There is still a fight for gold honours this season. Matt Wright currently leads the way in that gold championship by 40 points from Mike Matthews, who at the minute, Mike Matthews has the pace over him, but one position isn't going to be enough for Mike to take this one. The teams is wrapped up, nothing to play for but pride in the team's championship, and it is pride for every other driver on this grid. Matthew Duffin joined in the commentary box once again by my partner in crime, Kelly Davis, sweet and sticky in your box. Kelly, good evening, welcome to the commentary box. Donington Park, the home of sim play. What a night we've got in store with these championship battles.
Absolutely, it's looking like a fantastic, shaping up for a fantastic final tonight. A few battles up and down the grid, as you said, but it's one of those tracks that a lot of drivers really like, me included, and it's going to be a great night. Good evening to everyone out there. I hope everyone's well.
Good evening to Chris Rook in the chat, Audio Sport, Gary Clauble, Sam Williams, as well as Fury's granddad and Rob Smith, all in the chat. It is that season finale at Donington Park. The weather stayed away tonight. There was lingering rain around last night that never came. Cloud covers came back over, for similar to what we had in the Who Darren Cup on Tuesday night, but no threat of rain tonight. So pretty much what we see is what we're going to get here, Kelly. The one thing I suppose we've got to talk about these conditions, it is an evening race. And at that 90-minute mark of race 2, in them last 20-30 minutes, it does start to get a little darker. With that extra cloud cover, it'll be really dark coming over Donington Park here.
Yes, it will. Personally, Matt, I would have wished it was like this last night. Not that it would have made an awful lot of difference to the way my evening went, but I would have preferred. We had broken cloud and a bit of sunshine, but we were all expecting a little bit moist or changeable weather, which we didn't get. I was actually going a little bit better in the colder conditions. I think this is slightly better, but of course it would be for pros. They've always got the luck, haven't they?
They always have the look, and this is going to be an interesting one to see what we can do, or what these drivers can do, this evening. Chris Dane's in the chat, good evening to you as well. I think we're in for a belter of a night tonight. It's going to be a fantastic show on display. Should be having 19 cars on the grid. And the one thing I'm noticing, Kelly, is you're in a little gem you've joined the spectator seat in. Bottom of our timing tower. You're in a little gem
I left that on
Honda
there for
NSX.
You. Yeah, I left that on there for you. Yeah, I knew you were going to pick up on it. I didn't realise it would take you like less than about 6 minutes to mention it. But
look, I think we've done really well this season. We've not mentioned. I've not mentioned Ginsters at all, pretty much.
No,
we've not really.
we've
not really slated the Honda this season. You know. Some might call it professional at times.
Wow. I don't know if I go that far, but you know.
Yeah, well,
yes, we have. For those of you who haven't watched Sweet and Sticky before or listened to us, there has been some jokes that have run for like 5 years. Honda and how they are a fantastic lawnmower, Ginsters how they are a proper pasty or not a proper pasty, cheese on toast and GT5 and pineapple on pizza. Yeah, I mean, why would you? So all those things have been running. We've been very good this season. We have been very good.
Yeah.
To be honest, there hasn't been that much time to fill in. To be fair,
it's been such a cracking season, hasn't it? That even when there's been a bit of a lull in the race, by the time we start to talk about something, it picks up again. And that's the kind of season we've had this year. It's just been. I tell you what, Kelly, I'll say it now. This has probably been one of the best pro seasons I can remember for a long time.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I mean, people out there might say, you say that every season. But I think it has been an absolute cracker. And, I would think throughout the day of little things to bring up as discussion points when we would have a lull in the race, touring car facts and and the state of motorsport, this, that and whatever, and we just really haven't had the time to get into it, because the racing has been so good, which it's great. It's great for us, it's great for the channel, it's great for you guys at home, and long may it continue. And if a lot of these drivers are here to stay, and congratulations to Langley last night and Vitas. They went really well. They both bloody beat me, but in their first race. But Langley stepping up to this pro group for sure, and whoever else comes up. If we keep this kind of level of driver, and they stay around, then there's no reason that the next few seasons are going to be are all going to be epic.
100%. It's going to be an absolute cracker. Shorter off season this season, 4-week off season, to bring you a 10-week calendar for the next one, which takes us right up literally to the Thursday before Christmas, literally a week before Christmas. Chris Rook saying jam before cream. Chris Dane saying wine before beer.
I don't agree. Well, I don't drink wine or beer, so cider,
there we go.
cider and cider. So and probably a vodka chaser afterwards. But jam before cream all the way, my friend, all the way. Don't listen to what those Devon people do.
Good evening as well to Lewis Hibbs in the chat, who says good luck.
Hello,
good
mate.
Evening, good luck, Damien Hibbs and everyone else racing tonight. Good evening to everybody. If you are new to the channel, please do hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. If you are new, we are planning on 3 special events in the off season: an endurance event of some kind. An endurance event of some kind. I believe it's a 4 or 6 hour of Watkins Glen. Not 100% certain on that one yet. Driver swap.
I like Watkins.
We are then looking at a Porsche night with the Porsche GT2s, Porsche GT3s, and the Porsche Cup car. And then we're looking at a classic night, so a bit more of the Project Cars 2 type variety of cars, 2015 or earlier. Race cars that we're going to look to be using. Lexus Band is what we're saying, because of how OP it is. But it'll basically be, the classic Honda, the classic Bentley, the original Audi, the original Porsche, the original Bentley, the Jaguar, the Retia, the original Lamborghini. So could be even the McLaren 650S, one of Dan Davis's championship winning cars. The old Honda is the old Acura from Project Cars 2. So a guy won a championship in that, I remember, against Nauris Plavins, and took a championship, did a few duffing chops along the way. So
I think you defined the duffing chop in that season.
Created it, mastered it, defined it, all within one move.
I think I created it, but you, Matt, you kind of,
took it.
Well, I named it. You created it. I named it. You know, and now it's a thing of legend. Okay. So his off-season ones sound interesting. Certainly for me, endurance at Watkins. I'm usually quite good around Watkins. So, but then I've got equipment issues.
You have just been testing Watkins on single player in that beloved Honda.
In that, we won't go as far as beloved just yet, but in that interesting Honda. How about that?
We'll go with that one. We'll run quickly through the championship standings. And so O'Reilly 42 points clear of Ben Ruck, Dan Davis 108 behind. They're the only three that can win it. Good battle for fourth between McGowan, Clouden and De Bont. That's all for fourth place. Williams not out of that one neither. I believe it's Williams, the driver that we are waiting on. Matt Wright and Mike Matthews, they're clearing. They're 40 points separated in that gold battle. So we'll see who can do the honours there. And then we've got 10th place is Overtaker, not here to end the season. Hibbs, P11, third in gold, trying to hold off Leger in P12. Goudet's P13th from Cardno, 14th. And it's Harris Ramsell, who won his very first championship on Tuesday night in the Houdarin Cup Genettas Constructors Championship. His first championship ever, not even at Simplay ever. So congratulations to Rob. Stardog 17th from Class in 18th. Sadly not here tonight. Pedal issues have ruled him out for tonight. You know all about them.
It happens, mate. It happens a lot. Yeah, it's a bit of a thing just at the moment.
Rob Smith is then the next man up. He is down in. He was on track actually. It's the 836. So De Bont will go and watch him. So I was looking at everybody in the pit. Then it's Rob Smith in 19th from Steve Millington, Rosowski, Skunky, Cairns, Hoffer, Hayo, and Sullivan. And that team's championship of Team Audio Sport, or your pole sitters, or your champions.
Champions.
From Dapper Racing, Cloud9 in a fight for third with Simplay Racing. Greasy Bandits in a fight for fifth with AS Racing. So what can they do there? Team GBR from Team RRM, Utopia Motorsport, Quantum Motorsport, Roadrunner Motors, Full Centre for Fjord Lords, and then Effect Motorsport. McLaren, for those who care, McLaren was the manufacturers' championship winners by 2,508 points from Ferrari. Xbox won the battle of the consoles by 12,580 points there. All we know is we're in for a cracking finale. Rosowski on pole, and we've not said it too much this season, but if we look at that balance of performance, the BOP, which is in play for every championship race here in the GT3s, the BMW is that go-to car around this Donington Park circuit. So much so, and I believe when I looked at it the other day, it was so far clear, 31 kilograms the BMW M4 gets of Rosowski, to the Aston Martin 17, which is the second most BOP car. So if you're wondering why there's a gap on the grid, by the way, that's where Williams should be. He's not got into the lobby, unfortunately. So that BMW, clearly the strongest car on this circuit.
Yes, indeed, and the best looking. Good evening to Ian Best. I knew you'd have a comment. I'm surprised it took so long. Keep them coming. I can suck it up.
Oh dear. Yeah.
I knew they were all coming.
Oh dear.
Don't give it out if you can't take it.
He could take it.
Not to Ian. I gave it out plenty last night, and then got it all back.
I think your comment in the build-up was, that's the closest I'll be to seeing you tonight in the pit box when we came into the lobby.
Yeah.
And then you qualified alongside him.
Yeah.
It was funny.
I was doing it with that with half of my brake being used all the time.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it was the only night that I've ever got a puncher, and I got 3 of them.
Got 3 of them, 3 slap punches in one night.
3 punches in one night.
So I suppose there's another talking point, isn't there? The slow punches. We'll get into that in a moment. The grid order then is as follows. With no Williams, that bumps everybody from first upwards on this grid. De Bont has sailed off, so it is going to be Rosowski on pole position. Should be Williams alongside him, not in the lobby at the moment. It will then be De Bont from Jamal Clouden, which will be moved up. After Jamal Clouden and De Bont, it will be McGowan and Dan Davis. Dan, crucial task tonight. Not only can he try and stay in his championship, but he's got to try and help Ben Ruck, who will now be alongside Dan on the grid, not alongside Kieran O'Reilly due to Williams not being here. Cairns, great to see Cairns back after his injury, still recovering. His pots have come off. He's back on the grid. He's alongside Steve Millington. It'll then be Stardog and Ramsell to go alongside each other on the grid. It's then Michael Harris and Cardno. They line up on the grid P13, 14. 15th, John Goudet alongside Leger in P16. Obviously, everybody bumped up one. So just subtract one off their numbers, then it'll be Hibbs from Mike Matthews on the grid, but Mike will now be alongside that of Matt Wright, the two drivers fighting for gold honours this evening. Kelly, where's your money on in this race?
Oh God, for this race, possibly De Bont. Clouden won't be far behind. Wazowski's guy, really tough one to be honest. You know, you've got all your platinum drivers. We've only got 7 platinum drivers left now. I'm saying De Bont has got a good chance at this one, the way he's been driving just recently. And as far as the gold honour as well, as you say, the two guys fighting for that honour are right at the back. Let's see how they get on, but watch out for Patrick Leisure as well, because he's on a real run of form and was very, very quick in practice. So watch out for him with a good result tonight. We'll
get into Patrick a little later, because interesting story as to why he's racing tonight. I'm going to go Rizalski from the pole. I think that BMW looks a good car in this one. Shout. Penultimate round though of the season. 12 weeks of racing due to the cancellation of COTA. What is going to happen in the finale at Donington Park, the home of Simplay Motorsport? We're green and go for the penultimate time, and Ben Rook's already trying to squeeze through the middle of Dan and McGowan. Not going to work through there, but Rizalski, nice clean start, nice clean getaway, already takes the lead. Clouden gets up the inside through Redgate in towards Hollywood now of De Bont. That is McGowan, that is Clouden through into second place. Dan and McGowan side by side through the Craners. Got to be crazy and careful at the same time to overtake through there. Dan gets the job done, and that is ahead of McGowan. Ben Rook with McGowan just on the grass gets to run through the little kink. There's no name of that kink up the hill. Ben now on the grass on the outside line there. That's where a good beer facility is if you're on the infield camping for this weekend. And Ben can't get the run. McGowan looks up the inside of Dan through the exit of McLean's in towards Coppice now, and onto the famously named unofficially by Donington Park at the moment Simplay Straight. They go straight. And so far Ben ahead of O'Reilly.
Absolutely, reasonably clean start. I didn't see any action anywhere. I saw plenty of action, but no handbags from anybody. No one off in the gold race. Mike and Matt are still very close to each other. Patrick's gone backwards, and I don't know why. There's a spinner.
That's Michael Harris running his Northlife Cancer Research livery for tonight in honour of the event we did earlier in the year. He's gone off in the Audi. Beautiful looking colours on that car. There's a spinner early on.
Yes, indeed. As I say, I don't know what happened to Patrick. He went backwards. We didn't see what happened with him. So I don't know. But all in all, it looked like a good, clean start for most of them.
It does look a clean start for most of them. Dan McGowan, that is one of the McLarens in. That is Matt Wright, as well as Damien Hibbs into the pit lane for this opening lap. Dan wanting to get out of that traffic, and O'Reilly starting to put the pressure on Ben. De Bont also putting a bit of pressure on Jamal Clouden, coming down the Craners through the old hairpin and under Starkey's, or past Starkey's Bridge, because he's no longer under it anymore. He used to have that bit coming off of Starkey's Bridge with a Bluebird car on top of it. But no more since the Formula 1 was going to come to Donington Park, and up through McLean's they go. Good fights happening out here on the circuit. We've got the two Quantum Motorsport drivers going at it here. Millington's ahead of Ramsell for now. No, sorry, that's a change of positions. That is Ramsell now ahead of Millington, looking at the car numbers there. So Ramsell's got ahead of Millington. Then it's Goudet, Cardno and Mike Matthews in this train behind the two Quantum boys.
Yeah, it's turning into quite the train as well, and Patrick's coming back to the party as well, just behind these guys. He's catching on to the back of them, so who's holding him up? It's Rob Ramsell, who's the cork in the bottle just at the moment, and it could all get juicy around here as we go around the Melbourne hairpin. And
it does get juicy, because Millington's just gone up the inside at the Melbourne hairpin. John then thought of having a look, but had nowhere to go as the Quantum boys were side by side. Millington gets a poor run out of Melbourne in towards the Goodard's hairpin. They come now, and we're back to as we were before the braking zone of Melbourne itself. Now back to the front. Jamal Clouden is actually getting on the back of Rizalski here, who is in the pits, and he's Millington and Cardno both in.
Yeah, absolutely. They both dived into the pits, right across Mike Matthews, one of them as well. So that takes a couple out of this train and takes the pressure off Rob Ramsell a little bit now. Kieran O'Reilly, fastest man on track. He's behind Ben Rook. Ben Rook in front of him, so gaining points
Jamal,
on him.
I think tap the back of Rosowski. Sorry, Kelly, tap the back of Rosowski, coming through the little left-hand kink as they come back up the hill towards McLean's. There was a flash of the lights, but that's put De Bont now on the back of Rosowski. He's going to have a look up the inside into Coppice. Blind entry into this corner, and De Bont takes the lead of this race through the Coppice corner. That was all through Clouden tapping the back of the BMW, and De Bont now leads.
Absolutely, Clouden the one to miss out there, but starting to bring Ben Rook back into play. I was just saying before that kicked off that Ben Rook is ahead of Kieran O'Reilly, so he's gaining points on him, but it isn't enough, Matt, is it? It's nothing like enough.
No, needs to be a good chunk of points in this race to really start to take them out of O'Reilly. He did a good chunk last week, if you remember, back at Valencia, but O'Reilly currently fastest man on track. That chunk that Ben's taking at the moment then disappears because of the fastest lap O'Reilly's got at the minute. Ben Rook would score 53, O'Reilly would score 50 plus fastest lap, with Rosowski and Clouden boxing. They're going for the undercut. There's a car off, just seen in the background there. That's one of the Quantum cars, and it was Steve Millington who was off coming down the Simplay straight, so he's had a moment as he enters into the Foggy S's now. But yes, so far good start for them all. Goudet's on the back of Ramsell as they enter the top of the Craners.
Yes, indeed. So now the front doesn't look quite so congested after those two jumped into the pits. We'll see how it all pans out. Remember, this is a sprint race, only 10 minutes left to go.
Wow.
This does go very quickly.
Sorry, Kelly, Dan and McGowan have both jumped that of Rosowski and Clouden, but Clouden has jumped Rosowski by a comfortable margin here.
Yes, he has indeed. So pitting early seems to be paying off.
It does indeed. Ramsell a little wide through Coppice on the exit. That's brought John Goudet right into play in the slipstream. Aston Martin, second best car around here according to the BOP files. John's going to look to the outside of the Foggy S's. Ramsell has the inside line. Ramsell turns in. John gives him a bit of a tap on the rear, and they both stay facing in the right way and continuing for the time being. And two into that chicane is not going to work, and I just think it was a bit of a coming together more than an incident there.
Going side by side in that chicane is me and Jamal did it in practice earlier in the week, and it was great fun. We both ended up in a wall.
Yeah. So these two didn't end up in a wall, thankfully. No. Mike Matthews has done his pit stop. He's 2 places behind Matt right now. He's got Hibbs between them. Goudet comes into the pits. The problem for Matt is he's got the AS Racing boys of Cardno and Leger. Leger with a great exit out the Foggy S's here, down in towards the Melbourne Loop. Cardno gives him such a wide berth. Thinks, Leger, on you go, but you've outbraked yourself, so I'll have it back.
Absolutely. Ben Rook now with the fastest lap, although he hasn't dropped Kieran O'Reilly at all. They've just spaced out a little bit now, but Ben with that all-important extra point, they're all going to matter if he's going to take it down to the wire. I don't know what the mathematics is on this, and with their current positions, how that's going to translate into the last race. When does it become undoable?
Well, I'll work that out in the session break, I think, Kelly, after this race. But Goudet there came out the pits ahead of Mike Matthews, so he stayed in front of Mike. So Mike's pit stop hasn't worked for him. Tried to get the undercut on John, it did not work. John's got ahead of Mike Matthews then, so good pace from Goudet at the moment. He's behind Hibbs, so now that puts 3 cars between Mike and Matt Wright, just swinging that gold title the way of Matt Wright here.
Absolutely, and I'm sure either one of them's looking forward to going up to Platinum next season. But Mike is still on a mission. He's pushing hard.
He's going to push hard. He's a fighter. He's Mike Matthews. Jamal trying to stick with McGowan. McGowan also trying to stick to the back of Dan Davis. Dan hasn't felt comfortable tonight. Before we came on air, just seemed like he was struggling a little bit. Halfway through the race though, Ben just starting to pull a little clear of O'Reilly now. The gap was 1.2 to Ben and De Bont, and it stays at 1.2 through sector 1. Ben's fastest lap, a 1:25.986 at the moment, some 4/10 quicker than O'Reilly's, and last time around when Ben had set that, we'll wait for the timing tower to update for this lap. And as it does so, actually, Ben was a further 3/10 quicker than De Bont on that last lap, and a further 4/10 quicker than O'Reilly. So in fact, Ben's just done another fastest lap. That one through
25.9 according to Chris. And Chris saying he doesn't know what Plan A and Plan B is. Nor does Ferrari, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. Nor do we, to be fair. Nor do we.
No,
I don't even know if Dan and Ben know what Plan A or Plan B is. I think Plan A is beat O'Reilly, and Plan B is do it by a big margin. So but Ben getting close, took another 2/10 in the middle sector out of De Bont. Ben looking up for this one. He's really got the hammer down here. O'Reilly's not going with him, is he? Because he's losing ground to Ben.
Absolutely. Are we looking for, and if he doesn't get it done tonight, are we looking at a star of the future with multiple championships in Ben Rook? Rock solid contract for the next couple of seasons with Team Audio Sport. And
you're saying rock solid, but
I told you. No. When you've given giant skittles as part of a contract, that's an unbreakable bond. Any lawyer will tell you that.
No bonus clauses for winning the championship. Goudet goes a little wide on the exit of the Melbourne loop, though. This gives Mike a perfect opportunity to get alongside. The problem is, though, with John going wide at Melbourne, gives him that inside line and the run in, but he's outbraked himself.
Deep.
Mike's going to talk up underneath. That'll be Mike Matthews through. Will not be Leger, though. John tucks in behind Mike Matthews, so John just a little deep there, makes his own mistake, and Mike gets through. John now looking left, looking right. Mike comes to defend, and John has to go the long way round. Great bit of racing this between the 1, 2, 3, 4, because Cardno's still with them.
Yeah, absolutely. That was like a gift. That was like gift wrapped. That was. Here you go. Here's a big gap. Go through it. And Mike didn't need a second invitation. Job done. So now Patrick is joining this. Is in this. Oh, there we go. John's.
John
off.
Oh, he's done well there, because you saw the car bouncing. Well, you saw the car bouncing on the grass, and it looked like it was turning left into the wall of Sarki's Bridge, and he's done well to keep it out the wall. Loses out though to Leger and to Cardno. Back to the fight at the front. Gap is half a second. O'Reilly chooses to box. Ben going a little bit longer. Now, we've seen earlier in this race the undercut works. Is that a good strategy from Kieran O'Reilly and not from Ben?
Well, Kieran O'Reilly is 2/3 of the way through. It's where Dan ends up, isn't it? Is the interesting? Is going to be the interesting.
Well, Dan is off. Dan's off at Goddard's. McGowan's gone up the inside. Dan's outbraked himself at Goddard's. O'Reilly's coming out the pit lane now. We'll see that Honda merge, as you can see there. O'Reilly's off the limiter. McGowan is through, and Dan is going to try it up the inside into Redgate. O'Reilly gives it such a wide berth. Dan would have cleared O'Reilly comfortable. Now O'Reilly's on the grass, so Dan does get through past O'Reilly. That is crucial for Ben Rook. 2 cars have jumped O'Reilly in the pits. The question for Ben now is, where will he feed into this train? And Cloudon's on the back of O'Reilly as well.
Absolutely, and from experience last night, is going as long as possible. Really that good a strategy. It didn't work out for me. To be fair, the 2 guys out front who won it, Langley and Vitas, were in a class of their own last night, so it would have been hard to beat them regardless, but we went with the long strategy last night. Was it the right one? Who knows? Seems that an early pit stop does pay off, but you've got to have pace to go with it.
You've got to have the pace to go with it. Now O'Reilly's got to have the pace to stay ahead of Jamal Cloudon, who's looked racy in this first race. Ben Rook now into the pits. This guy needs a good stop, needs to get out ahead of McGowan and Dan, to just have 2 cars between them. Would love Cloudon to get past, to put 3 cars between them. If that is the case, we'll go on board with McGowan at the minute. We'll keep our eyes on Ben. Ramsell's in the pits as well. We'll keep our eyes on Ben. Not yet gone green. Here comes McGowan out to Goddard. Ben's still not gone green at the moment. He goes green now. We're going to see him emerge from the pit lane momentarily as the camera pans down towards turn 1. There's Ben. He loses out to McGowan, but Willie took him behind Dan. Dan's gone up the inside of Ben Rook in towards Redgate. Dan takes the lead. Ben's going to immediately try and undercut him at the Craner curves. Teammates side by side of the Craners. What could happen here? This could make or break Ben's season, and Dan stays in front.
It's too risky there. It's too risky, Matt. If he's going to give him the place back, it was too risky there. Kieran O'Reilly was far too close. You're not going to do fancy manoeuvres down through the Craner curves. Here we go. Look,
Dan's let him go. Dan's let him go. And immediately took straight back in behind Ben. He's now got a job to keep O'Reilly behind. He needs Cloudon to keep the pressure on O'Reilly so that he can take the pressure off of Dan. I think McGowan could be sat in the pound seat here if he's jumped Ben by this margin, by the way. And what is the margin? We'll see in a moment. as the timing tower will update through this second sector, I think Ben was only half a second behind De Bont, you know. It's 1.6 to Ben. I think McGowan could lead this race. De Bont in the pits.
He could. I think it depends on De Bont's stop. I don't think Ben's stop was particularly slick.
No,
I don't.
I
don't know why, but it just wasn't. I don't know if he missed his marks or whatever. Clouden looking racy. When isn't Clouden looking racy? He's always looking racy. But he wants a bit of this battle. He doesn't care about a championship. He just wants results.
Oh, what a fight down the bottom end of the field here, by the way, for gold. You've got Rozalski in 9th at the moment. He's got Matt Wright behind him with Rob Ramsell right there. Then it's Hibbs, Mike Matthews and Leger trying to get onto this pack. Great little battle down the bottom end. But Kieran O'Reilly now hassling Dan. Where did De Bont come out the pits there? He's just ahead of McGowan. So he's just ahead. He had just enough. So that, to me, Kelly, Ben has definitely overshot his box a little bit. Surely, because I think Ben would have been in between these two.
I was on board with him, and I don't know if it shows you overshooting. He came to a stop. The car didn't move forward, backward, laterally or whatever. But it just seemed to be up for a long time. But I don't know if you miss your marks and it moves your car that you actually see that from our view. So I don't know. We'll find out. Chris will tell us. Chris, he might not, because he's banned from being in Ben's room when Ben's racing. And I
assume he's probably got Ben's stream on, and I assume that's how Chris is able to give us this information.
He did what?
Yeah,
he did overshoot his box?
Yeah, I think he overshot his box. He had to have done for the amount of time he's lost. Right, O'Reilly is hassling Dan, but Jamal is also hassling the back of the Honda. O'Reilly, Darren Cup, Ginetta champion for the drivers there. It seems slow to jack him up, is what he's saying. So he must have missed it by a little bit. Had to have done for it to be slow to jack him up. But O'Reilly, the Darren Ginetta Cup winner for the Drivers' Championship, looking to take his first GT3 win. De Bont starts the final lap of this race. Ben Ruck can only hope for third, but what he's got to hope for is he would love Jamal to get in between, to get past O'Reilly.
And Jamal, as I said, is looking racy, and Dan's defending this one. Goes a bit wide in Redgate, is on the exit there. Dan kicks up the dust a little bit, and O'Reilly's got to be careful. He could do without dropping down any more places. Got to start thinking smart here.
Yeah, indeed.
How many points does he lose to Ben? It's not the end of the world.
I think he's losing about 10 or something points at the minute. It's not the end of the world, but
it's not the end of the world.
It's enough to take out if he has a bad feature race. Look at this fight behind Rozalski, by the way. Matt Wright and Ramsell going toe to toe. They've got Hibbs not far away. They've got Mike Matthews then with 2 cars between him and Matt Wright still, so that's going to be an interesting one. And then Leger not far off the back.
Where do you look next?
You're looking everywhere, and this is where we've not been able to mention a lot of stuff this season because the battles have been fantastic. To the front though, De Bont coming through the chicane for the final time in this race one. Rob Smith saying Dan's got to go fast as slowly as possible and hope Clouden gets O'Reilly.
Perfect.
You couldn't say that any better, could you?
No, you couldn't. No, you want to try commentating, Rob, because that was needs to go as fast as possible slowly, or slow as possible fast. I don't know.
Well, into Goddard's for the final time of race number 1. It is going to be a win for De Bont here in the sprint race. He's going to take the first race win of the night. De Bont wins from McGowan. Ben takes P3 with fastest lap from Dan. O'Reilly P5, Jamal P6. Cairns on his return. Great to see Cairns back on the grid after some broken ribs and other bones as well. He comes for 7th. Rozalski 8th. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, there's pandemonium in the background. Matt Wright takes 9th. Hibbs gets 10th. I think Ramsell's out of fuel at the line because he's all of a sudden come to an all of a sudden stop. Mike gets P12. Then it's Leger from Cardno, from Goudet, from Harris, from Millington. Stardog didn't do his pit stop. He gets the 130-second time penalty. But my God, what an end to the race.
Ramsell threw one up the inside in the Melbourne, a really late dive on Matt Wright into the Melbourne hairpin, and I thought there might have been a little bit of handbags and he was given that position back, but it seemed not. Ramsell was really slow out the last corner. You might well be right. I think he may have run out of fuel and he just got mugged by a couple of drivers there. So what a dramatic end to the race.
Oh, what a dramatic end to race number and breathe. But we've got a second race coming right up. You'll want to join us for it. Do not miss a moment of this action. We'll be right back shortly. And we are clear. Just inputting the points now.
it's not enough, is it? I mean, it's positive, but he's still got a mountain to climb in the last race, hasn't he?
Well, Ben's just taken. In fact, I've not got down to O'Reilly. I'm just getting down to him now. So he was 5th. Ben's just taken only 8 points out of him.
Out of what, 40 something was it? 41.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got to claw back.
We're on a break.
32 points. How the hell was he getting? What's a win worth?
65.
Right. Okay.
I'm going to work it out in a second. I'm just finishing these results. Cardno 14th, Ligier 13th. Williams not here for this first race at least. So we can put
Mike saying congratulations to Matt for gold. Not enough points to beat him now. Is that right?
I don't know. I'll have a look in a minute when we get all these done.
Okay. I'm going to go grab a drink. I'll be back in a minute.
Dude. Whew.
tomorrow night looking bad. Right. Oh, sorry, can you close that door? Thank you. Okay, I'm back.
No worries.
Jesus, you've got louder.
Oh, have I?
Might be me. I might have touched the volume knob. Go on.
Ben needs to win with fastest lap with O'Reilly 12 for it to go to a countback. Sorry. Ben needs pole, fastest lap and win with O'Reilly 12 for it to go to a countback. Ben needs to win with fastest lap and O'Reilly 13th or lower to win it outright.
Big ask, isn't it?
Big ask. 70 minutes. O'Reilly's been having force feedback problems.
Could I have a DNF?
I don't think O'Reilly will DNF. I think he'll go to the very end.
Well, you could have a disconnection or anything could happen.
Yeah. What a season. What a race.
Yeah. Quite genuine what I said, isn't it? That, we haven't had time to talk shit because
too much
action.
Rob double shifted, he said in Discord, out the final corner, so he wasn't out of fuel. He double shifted.
He went deep out of the last corner. That last corner, I can't remember, never remember the name of that one.
Goddard's.
Goddard's is a bastard of a corner.
Yeah, it is.
We really need to update the sponsors video,
You keep saying that.
Yeah, I am. Every week I look at it and think, I must update that. I have, funnily enough, got other things to do, so.
Yeah.
DJ tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah. Has Dan told you what he's doing on Saturday?
Nope. Don't tell me fuck all.
So I've got a gig with people who follow the European Le Mans Series on iRacing. They copy the European Le Mans Series calendar. I work with a guy called... I commentate with a guy called... I can't remember his name now. Ashley. Or if he's not there... Lorenzo, I commentate with. Both aren't here this weekend. The guy who runs it says, do you know anybody? And I went, I'll ask him, but I don't know if he'll do it. It's 55 quid straight into his PayPal for a 4-hour race, right?
Okay.
No invoice, no nothing. This is how I think I've convinced him. So I got down with me Saturday.
No, he hasn't told me any of that, but as I said, he tells me fuck all. So
I'm actually really looking forward to it because I've got Dan. Like I said, I got Dan doing it with me. So
yeah, that'd be cool. Absolutely.
Good.
Yeah. I'll have to give that a plug at the end.
Right. 4. This is going down to the wire. Let me remove what I've just typed in so that then I can read the current standings out. And we'll go back live in 5, 4. Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, to Simplay Motorsport. It is now the final race of the season. And don't worry, there is fun events coming up, so you haven't got long to wait till the next event on Simplay Motorsport. You've only got 4 Thursdays to wait after this one. For the start of the new season, the end of 2025 season, the Christmas season, as we like to call it, because we'll all be in them festive spirits and all in the festive mood, whether we're in New Zealand or in the United Kingdom or wherever we are in the world.
Barbecue for Christmas lunch.
Barbecue for Christmas lunch. John Goudet is the only driver. In fact, no, he's just on his way out the pits now. Now, Ben has just overtaken Harris. I don't know if they overtook him in the final sector there, which is a bit of a no-no, but obviously that's down to drivers to submit tickets on that one.
He did it in the Simplay Straight, so he might have just got in before there. Yeah, he did it at the beginning of the Simplay Straight.
There we go.
Maybe.
Either way, championship standings at the moment look interesting, and we'll get into the stipulations at the minute. O'Reilly leads by 34 points. Okay.
Yep.
Dan is now out of it. He's 105 behind. McGowan is P4. He is 4 points clear of the bunch. Moll's dropped out of that P4 running. Not realistically, can still do it, but he is 20 points behind McGowan. Williams P5. Matt Wright has won gold. Mike cannot catch him. There's not enough drivers on the grid for Mike to catch gold. So well done, Matt. You've won gold.
Yeah.
And that's all
absolutely nothing. Yeah. Absolutely nothing for that fact. But
if this was next season, it would have been a bit more.
It would have been, trophies and paychecks and Caribbean cruises and dolly birds hanging off his arm and wild parties, but none of that this year because it ain't worth nothing.
And that's all the audio
sponsorship
that pay for that, I imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. All on the tab. All on the tab of Audio Sport.
Mike Matthews is P9. Hibbs stays in third place, but Hibbs can get ahead of Mike Matthews here. Overtakers drop to 11th with Leger in 12th. Goudet is 13th with Cordno, Harris, Ramsell, Stardog, Class Millington, Rob Smith, Rosowski, Cairns, Skunky, Hoffer, Hayo, Sullivan. Constructors wise, we're pretty much as we were. AS Racing are now some 80 points behind Greasy Bandit, so a big ask for them to win this, to get P5 in the Constructors. Sim Play are only 57 off the back of Cloud9. There's only one Cloud9 driver out there, so Simplay Racing could get ahead of Cloud9 at the moment. We'll see what happens. But as apart from that, we're as we were in that one. But oh my, what an opener to the race! And currently, look, in fact, let's get into the stipulations first. So for Ben Rook to win this championship, now I haven't done the count back yet. You know, you'd think we'd be prepared after season 4 or 5 Project Cars 2.
It's not like we haven't had a count back before.
It's been so long though. That if Ben gets the win and pole and fastest lap, he will be. We'll have to look at a count back then for championship because he'll be tied on points with O'Reilly if O'Reilly finishes 12th. If Ben wins with fastest lap, even without pole, and O'Reilly finishes 13th, Ben is champion. So big ask, but
it is a big ask. So O'Reilly has got to keep his head down and just bring home a solid result to take this championship. He doesn't have to beat Ben, he just needs to be in the top dozen drivers.
100%. We'll stick with Ben for the time being because he's about to complete his second flying lap of this qualifying session in this race at the moment. Plenty of comments coming in. Dan saying that he should have won that one.
He probably should have.
In the chat. No, I'm not sure. I feel like DeBont and McGowan, was, I know Dan made the mistake, but DeBont, I feel, after the pit stop was fair game. Now O'Reilly's just gone provisional pole. Ben Rook did take it for a moment, but O'Reilly's took it back off him. So O'Reilly top of the timing tower. What can Mike Matthews do coming out the final corner? Sam Williams saying that was exciting there. Gary Clarwell, good luck all. Come on, McGowan. And what's a good quali time, says Chris. Low 26s, if not touching the 25s, as O'Reilly's demonstrated there, because it is going to be close. DeBont coming round to finish his second flying lap. This qualifying could be anybody's game as DeBont doesn't improve. Rosowski crosses the line P8, no improvement for him. Dan Davis currently sat P5 at the moment behind Leger. Crosses the line, stays behind Leger at the moment. Rob Ramsell, who double shifted out the final corner, and that was the problem as to why he was slow over the line. He stays P16. John Gooday next to the line.
Yes, indeed. So, again, look, where are we? A second covers the top 10 as we speak at the moment. Just the 1 second, as that actually now covers the top 11 as whoever went quicker then.
Not sure who went quicker, but Class is in the chat saying can't race this time, but sure don't want to miss this last race. There we go. It was John who went quicker. Where did he go up to? Oh, P5. Heck of a qualifying lap. There's Ben Rook. Ben Rook, provisional pole. O'Reilly's on an invalid lap. So that's one out of the bag. And Ben Rook, provisional pole at the moment.
Yes, indeed. In the 25.9s, a 25, Matt. That is rapid. Absolutely rapid.
That's what you were doing in the Honda earlier, wasn't it?
I was, just on a different track.
Yeah. Clouden down the order at the moment. He only moves up to P14. Cairns takes that back off of him. Where's McGowan? P11. Stays P11. What can DeBont do? Half a second, just under. He's got to finds a bit. Stays where he is. Rosowski moves up into P6. Dan Davis is down in 8th now. Can't help his teammate from P8. Goes 6th fastest at the moment then. The 501, that's Rob Ramsell coming to the line for this run. Millington currently down at the bottom end, 2.6 off the back. Ramsell improves to 15th. Stardog 2.4 off the back. What can he find? He moves now up to P14. John and Ben on an invalid lap. So the next man on a valid one is Kieran O'Reilly. So Ben, when O'Reilly's just sacrificed a lap by invalidating it, Ben's now done the same thing. So O'Reilly's got to find 2/10. Ben's got to nail these next laps.
Yes, indeed. Of course, they're pushing the absolute limits. One of the worst spots on this track is the chicane as you drop from international loop to GP loop, and that chicane is really tight on track limits, isn't it, Matt? You get a little bit over, and that lap is invalid, and it's a lot of cause of penalties. That one as well from being greedy on that chicane.
Hibbs, by the way, up in P5. Good session for him as well.
Absolutely.
John's just returned to the pit lane. Leger's P4. 3 tenths separate the top 4. 9 tenths separate the top 14. What a session this is turning out to be. Jamal Clouden now rocks up into P5. Good lap from him. McGowan down in 14th. He surely got time in the bag. Stays P14. What about De Bont? Goes into second place. Rozalski now moves up into P5. So this is what Ben needs. He needs cause between himself and O'Reilly. De Bont has put himself in between. Here comes Matt Wright. Dan's just invalidated a lap. Matt Wright stays where he is. Millington moves up to 16th, knocking his teammate to the bottom of the timing screens. Can Ramsell find an improvement? Not this time around, he can't know. Starlog is in the pits. His qualifying is done unless he gets out now. Ben Rook on a lap. He will get one more in. Can he find any more time? Not like that, he won't. He was deep at the Melbourne loop, so he's got to now go one more. De Bont is in the pits. He's done.
He obviously thinks he's done everything he can do, or just hasn't got enough fuel to go any further. And of course, you come back to the pits and refuel. You've got to get out there, warm your tyres back up, and all the rest of it. So, might have said that's all he's got. Might be forced into that's all he's got.
Well, Ben doesn't improve this time around. What can O'Reilly do? We've had nail biting. Qualifying ends. O'Reilly goes back to P2. It is less than a tenth and a half. Here comes Cardno to the line. Can he improve? He goes ninth. Great lap time from him. Hibb stays where he is for the time being. Mike Matthews, can he find an improvement? No, he cannot. What about Leger, who's currently running P4? He doesn't improve either. John Goudet, P number 12 at the moment. He stays 12th. Clouden moves up to 4th. Good lap from him. Keep your eye on Keynes. And where's McGowan at the moment? He's down in 14th. McGowan now, he jumps up to 3rd. What about Rozalski at the moment? Can he find an improvement? No, he can't stay 7th. Dan Davis in 12th place. Really needs to get a lap time together here. Does it this time, but needs to find a little bit more. That's Millington sideways out of the final corner. Doesn't improve, but it's a second covering the 17, and Ramsell's trying to find 2 tenths to make it a second between the top grid. But here comes Ben Rook, will be the first man to finish qualifying after De Bont and Stardock. So it'll be an official end to the qualifying for Ben Rook here. Gets Melbourne right this time. Has Ben got anything in the locker, Kelly? 2:29, he's off. Yeah. That is Keynes, he's done for the qualifying. John's on an invalid lap, it's saying on my screen. That's him possibly done for qualifying. But here comes Ben Rook, and he's done.
He's binned it. He's off. He says that's all he can do. Can't do any better than that. So must have been unhappy with that lap or well down. So he's done. So
O'Reilly goes pole. O'Reilly goes pole. He takes the crucial point for pole position. Can anybody take it from him?
And I'm deaf after that one, Matt.
Apologies, Kelly.
No,
but Kieran
I'm still peeling
O'Reilly,
myself off the ceiling.
Kieran O'Reilly.
Yes.
Ledger's gone P3, so Ledger's
boy.
right up. Sorry, Leger is right up there. Dan Davis. If there was a time for you to be up there with your teammate, it is now.
And he's still got the last corner to negotiate, and this is an awful corner. It's really easy to lose time here, get a bad exit, but he's good. He's on the traction nice and early. Can he gain something a little bit more? No. 7th.
Nothing from Dan Davis. Here comes Steve Millington. Will he be able to do anything? No, stays a second off the back. What about Rob Ramsell? Comes to the line. He doesn't improve. He does improve. So it is Millington and Ramsell, the Quantum Boys, the exact same lap time. And we have a second separating the top 18. We have half a second separating the top 10. But crucially for Ben, O'Reilly's on pole.
Absolutely. How does that work out in your calculations?
It means now that if Ben wins the race and O'Reilly finishes with fastest lap, O'Reilly finishes 13th, that'll be a count back.
Yeah.
Ben now needs O'Reilly to finish 14th to win it outright.
Again, as we said, it's a big ask, but anything can happen. Absolutely anything. So, yeah. Fury's granddad says, "Speak up, Matt. He can't hear you." I can. Yeah, it was like a couple of needles coming through both ears and matching in the middle. I certainly knew that O'Reilly was on pole.
He left it till the very, very end.
Yes.
How many times have we seen Dan and Overtaker do that to each other over the years in qualifying? And this time it's O'Reilly and Ben. My word, what a qualifying session that was.
Absolutely, and I've always said that Honda's a great car.
You have.
One at the top and one at the bottom, look.
Ninth, Leger P3. What a session.
Now there's a guy who's going forward, eh?
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
AS Racing for the constructors next year, you see.
Just fantastic from Leger there. Funny story about Leger. He was meant to miss the last 2 races. He was on holiday, but had a job interview to come back for today.
Yeah.
And that's why he's ended up racing this evening. So, whoa, my
well,
God. First of all, before we get a poll up, sorry, Kelly. Chris, how's the nerves?
Yeah, Chris, how are the nerves? And are you allowed in the same room as him? No, you've got to watch it on the stream from afar, haven't you? So you're in the same boat as the rest of us, really. Yeah, a great effort from Patrick there to be in P3, and he's quite confident that he may have that job as well. But we'll try and keep you informed in the off season if he got the job or not. I don't know what job he was going for.
No, we didn't. That's actually one.
No, we didn't ask that.
No,
we're rubbish, aren't we?
31 people in the stream, guys, girls. Get that thumbs up, hit, smash the notification button, the bell to go to notify you when we go live, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. It has come down to the wire. It's been 12 weeks of racing for these drivers. Yeah. We lost Cota earlier on in the season for Pro. It may have been Misano for Pro, I can't remember. We had a week push back at Paul Ricard due to problems with G Portal and with ACC, the game itself. So it's been 14 weeks of waiting for these pros to crown a champion. And my God, they're taking it to the wire.
Absolutely, we've had a season of up and downs. We've lost quite a lot of platinum drivers, which has been a real shame. And it would lovely to see a lot of them come back for next season and stick with it. But that's the way sim racing goes. It's got a high turnover. But we've had some thrills and spills this season. But it all comes down to this finale here at Donny Park.
Who's your money on, Kelly? Stardog will start from the pit lane. Who's your money on?
What, to win the race or win the championship?
Both.
I think it's a big. I mean, my driver is obviously Ben, and been cracking within the team and taking us to helped to take us to a constructors. And I'm very proud of him and all the audio sport guys, in whichever guys they are. I would like to say thank you to all of them for the great effort that they've put in and some great racing from these guys. But it's a big ask. So championship, I think it's going to be hard for Ben.
Yeah.
I mean, all he can do is win the race. The rest of it is in the gods. Funnier things have happened, so I think O'Reilly's looking good for the championship, but and O'Reilly's in the right place to start as well. I think maybe one of the, like Patrick or De Bont or McGowan might have a chance at this, being that the top two might be overcautious.
I think you're going to get one overcautious. I think you're going to get one ultra aggressive, and I think Ben's got to be aggressive. We spoke about it last night, didn't we, off air, that Vitas did last night exactly what he needed to do. Pole position, 2 fastest lap, 2 race wins. It just wasn't enough to win that championship. He needed Langley to finish down there. Ben's got to be aggressive here. He's got to win this race. He's got to take fastest lap. Ben's got to do what Ben's got to do. O'Reilly will know what he needs to do. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, if O'Reilly's smart, he'll let Ben sail past and let him go off and run his own race.
Yeah.
He can crash O'Reilly out, not on purpose, but he could. O'Reilly's at risk of being hit, and he doesn't need that.
Final time this season in the Pro. Who's it going down to? The front two on the front row. It's green and go. It's O'Reilly versus Ben for the race. It's O'Reilly versus Ben for the championship. Side by side into Redgate they come. They turn into turn one. It all gets congested up. That is a bit of a tap there. Leger on McGowan. McGowan wide. Clouden also on the grass just a little bit. That's given Dan 2 places. So Dan's gained 2. De Bont's going side by side with Leger down the Craner curves. Leger a little sideways through the Craner curves as well. But so far, O'Reilly did exactly what he needed to do, and that is to take the lead of this race. De Bont trying to get 4th place in this one. It's going to be an interesting one to see. XCL TV saying hello, Simplay. Let's go, Cairns and Rosowski. That is Leger off at McLean's and slides back onto the circuit. Clouden has to take evasive action, and they managed to all get through it nice and easy. What's happened, Kelly?
Yeah, he had to.
Out front though, O'Reilly leads from Ben.
Sorry, exactly that. Patrick went off at the old hairpin. No, go on. I'm only saying, go on.
No, I think we've got a slight delay here for some reason.
Right on the back of Ben, right on the back.
I think there is a slight delay. That's Hibbs who's had a spin. We can hear you, Kelly, but I think there is a slight delay in what you're hearing me saying.
Okay.
Not sure what. Try leaving the chat and coming back in and see if that one sorts itself out. Hibbs has had a spin himself. Matt Wright's to the back of the pack. So what a shame that wasn't race one to make this done. Dangerous move, says Berserker, but O'Reilly leads from Ben. Ben's coming under pressure from De Bont with fastest lap. Dan Davis now sitting in P4 at the moment. We'll hopefully get Kelly back in the comms booth in just a moment. There was a delay between me and Kelly, so Kelly wasn't hearing what we were saying at the right time. So hopefully that sorts itself out. McGowan, yellow flag for him. Him and what looks to be Millington are both tumbling down the order, so they've had an off coming up through the Melbourne loop. But Ben under pressure from De Bont at the moment. Kelly's back with us. Kelly, is that better?
I am back.
There we go.
Echo's gone. Yeah. Good to hear.
Right, Ben under pressure from De Bont already, with Dan Davis on the back of him in this one. Clouden is ahead of... he's trying to chase down Rosowski. He's got Cordno for company there. Then it's Leger, Ramsell from Goudet, Mike Matthews just behind him. Then it's Harris with Cairns, Hibbs, Stordog, Matt Wright, McGowan and Millington way down after their moment at the hairpin. But Ben at the moment, in fact, no, Ben not now, because Dan side by side into the foggy S is not going to do it round there. Tuck's back in behind.
Yeah, but he's going to have to run down into the Melbourne chicane. He tucks right in behind the Ferrari, right on the slip. De Bont's smart enough. He goes and defends the inside. Dan's going to try and go all the way around the outside, but he can't make that work. He has to switch back as they head towards the last corner. But I think De Bont's got this covered for a minute.
I think he has got it covered for the time being. Down into this one, Dan Davis on the back of De Bont for the time being. Clouden still getting close to the back of Rosowski in this one. We also got Mike on the back of John Goudet. Cairns is on the back of Harris, but he's got Hibbs for company as well. Fights happening all over the circuit. Stordog and Matt Wright side by side into Goddard's. There you go. Matt Wright right around the outside looking for the up and under, but turns into the side of Stordog.
Not so good. Easily done. Dan on the lights now, flashing the lights at De Bont, all very touring car styly. Trying to distract him. Why Daniel's distracting De Bont? De Bont's not attacking Ben, which is partly what Dan wants.
It's partly what Dan wants, but it's not what Ben needs, if you get what I'm saying, Kelly. Ben needs De Bont to follow him through on O'Reilly and with Dan as well. Just not happening at the moment for Ben Rook in this race. Donington Park, Dan's got a channel. He's in a Tom Ingram, who always seems to get podiums at Donington Park if we're speaking touring car style. Dan will hate me for saying that, being a Jake Hill fan, but down into the foggy S as we go once more.
More like Sutton these days, isn't it, for Dan?
Ingram seems to get more podiums than Sutton at Donington.
No, I meant it's Dan being more of a fan of Sutton than Jake Hill.
Not sure. Hard to keep up with. De Bont a little wide at the apex there. Dan tries to tuck underneath, too far back. Rosowski and Clouden going at it. Clouden nearly getting alongside Rosowski, and now Clouden will look to the outside of the foggy S's. The outside of Goddard's. Not the easiest place to overtake. Going to try and get the undercut, the switcheroo on Rosowski, who Jason Plato-esque just lets it roll on the apex, and Clouden has nowhere to go.
That's the way to do it. All the great defenders do it that way.
No, indeed they do. Goudet's still got Mike Matthews hassling the back of him. Harris has got Cairns and Hibbs there with him. Matt Wright still stuck behind Stardog. You've got McGowan and Millington a bit further off the back of this pack, but Ben losing touch to O'Reilly, and De Bont just creeping back to Ben with Dan coming with him. Just looking at the fuel strategies, Kelly, at the moment, there are some interesting strategies out there. A few full tanks, a few 50-50s. We're not going to name names in this race, but yeah, we've got some interest, massively so. A lot of slow punches coming into play last night.
Yeah, I had most of them. Yes, and never had one before. Dan a little bit squirrely on the exit of Coppice, and down a Simplay straight, which has let De Bont off the hook a little bit. And watch those track limits through that chicane. Oh, that was nasty, Dan. I would have said that might have pinged one up. Yeah, all still very... De Bont now close right into the back of Ben Rook. And I think that's more De Bont caught him up than it was Ben dropping back, because the gap seems about the same to O'Reilly at the moment. So 3 for the lead at the moment. Down in close company.
De Bont very
late,
close to the back of Ben Rook's car there. The last thing, these drivers are just fighting for places. De Bont's got a 4th place he's trying to fight for in the championship. But the last thing you want to do is take one of the contenders out of the race. De Bont looking racy though, and fair play to him. He's giving it his all. He wants another race win to end his season off in fantastic style. But my oh my, are we got a battle on our hands here. Clouden still on the back of Rosowski. Cordno trying to catch out of Ramsel. Mike and Goudet, they've just gone side by side. Goudet was off the track at Redgate, coming down the Craner curves now, so Mike moves up a place. McGowan, fastest lap of the race down the order. Cairn still sat behind the beautiful livery of Michael Harris, the white, black and pink that he ran on the BMW M4, if you remember, back in our Nordschleife 24-hour cancer research event. Went down to the last lap for him and I can't remember the other car. In the last 10 minutes or half an hour, it was action between him and his team and another team, and brilliant action at the Nordschleife for the last 30 minutes after 24 hours. But yeah, what a race we've got on our hands. Ben's still a second, and it has been a second for ages, although not a great run out the chicane. De Bont fancies a look. Ben closes the door, and now De Bont to the outside of the Melbourne Loop. Is he going to try and hold it around the outside? If he does, he'll have the inside line for Goddard, but Dan's now going to be on the wrong side of Goddard. He's side by side with De Bont. This is going to be an interesting one. Dan has just got his nose in front, but the problem is he's going to lose it all on that inside line. Tries to tuck underneath, and they all get checked up as Ben Rook looked really slow out of Goddard's there, and O'Reilly is just sailing away at the moment.
Yeah, Dan tried to switch back there, but De Bont was right in the perfect place. Couldn't make it happen. Dan was trying to set that up to get the traction down the main straight, but De Bont's smarter than that.
Ben's car looks a little twitchy and nervous, I'm going to say, Kelly. I don't know if it's the driver, but the car looks nervous. Millington has done his stop. He is in and out and going to complete the rest of this race. Clouden on the back of Rosowski at the moment. Goudet trying to keep touch with Mike Matthews, while Hibbs is on the back of Cairns. We've got Stardog with Matt Wright. Matt Wright's now got ahead of Stardog, but that battle for second place, O'Reilly from the last sector of the last lap has gained a second over Ben. O'Reilly doing what he needs to do. Ben is the man that's got to get in front.
Absolutely, and he's got to have O'Reilly's got to drop back an awful lot of positions for this to work to Ben. I think Ben's having enough job just living in the moment at the moment, at the current situation, because De Bont is very racy, and Dan right in there as well. This is a great little battle for these positions.
We are 10 minutes in to this race. We've still got an hour left to go of action here. Donington Park always seems to provide great drama and great racing throughout this entire grid, and at the moment it's going the way of Dapper Racing, it's going the way of the Honda NSX, it's going the way of Kieran O'Reilly to take a double championship this season. And Kelly, just before anything happens at the moment, you have to say, no matter who wins this, both are deserved champions.
Absolutely, Kieran O'Reilly's been impeccable all season, and but Ben has just come into his own in the latter half of the season and just found another level. If he sticks with us, I think Ben is, as I said before, is going to be a multiple champion here at Simplay. Remember, this lad is young. He's got got an awful lot to learn. But he's the up and coming star of this championship.
Donny is definitely a great finale track, says Rob Smith, who also said earlier, Rob, I did read your message, I forgot to say it out loud, that must say the classes this season have been amazing. Rob Smith had a great battle and took the bronze win last night, and obviously they're going to mean a little more next season because championships will be up for grabs. De Bont gets a slow run. Dan thinks of a late dive, but De Bont absolutely covers him off. And Dan Davis, 10 times a champ here at Simplay Motorsport, he's got all the tricks in the book, but De Bont was wise to them there.
Yeah, De Bont's no fool, that's for sure. You're not going to catch him out that easily. Dan tried to jig. He would have been very tight into the Melbourne hairpin, to be fair, but De Bont had that covered off. It's reasonably easy to defend the Melbourne hairpin, as long as you don't overshoot it. That's the key, not to overshoot it, but you can defend it from the inside really quite easily.
Tell you what, De Bont has been another driver that's come into it this season. Obviously Ben's been with us a few seasons, but De Bont has been a breath of fresh air, hasn't he, really? He's really took it to the top runners in this series. Bit of a slow start to his campaign, but then when he got going, my did he get going.
Yeah, absolutely. Another potential champion in waiting there for sure. De Bont been flying. He hasn't just been, he's been on the pace all the time and there and thereabouts for the races that he's done. And definitely, if he sticks with us, a contender for championships coming up for sure.
I have to say, Kelly, that a driver's just gone under the radar a little bit. Rob Ramsell qualified last on the grid. He's running P8 and he's on the back of Leger at the moment. Within a second, Rob Ramsell has gone a little under the radar. He is flying out there, is Ramsell at the moment. Hick's still on the back of Kane. Stardog sticking with Matt Wright. Matt Wright looks like he's got a bit of damage. And apologies in the chat. If you want to see any driver, just let us know. We'll try and give them the coverage. We're all trying to keep our eyes on this tasty championship fight as much as possible, whilst giving all the others as much respect and airtime as possible. We're going to drop back to Rosowski though. Clouden on his outside. That'll be a heck of a move if he can go the long way round. We saw Tom Ingram in the touring cars push Jake Hill off wide there and got a penalty, which I thought was a bit harsh a few seasons ago. Clouden right around the outside, might now have set himself up for the inside line at Redgate. He has. Thank you, Mama, for the carrots. What a move, Jamal. It's not done yet. Rosowski has a wiggle. Done now.
Yeah, it is. Rosowski looked like he was going to get the traction and come back at him, but not the case. Unfortunately, the way that this works, we've got very little option of to be able. We don't see anything but what we're seeing. I have a slightly different view I do have a different view to what you guys are seeing, but we can't control everything. Unfortunately, the sim racing technology isn't there for us to have a multiple views yet.
Big yet. Hopefully it comes in the future. Ben Ruck has kept that gap at a similar distance to O'Reilly. De Bont on the lights. The Belgian driver. He's giving Ben a bit of a flash. Dan gets a almighty run through the fog. Yeses. Did he just tap the brakes there as De Bont come over? Dan now then round the outside of the Melbourne Loop. Brave to do it round here. If he can hold it, he'll have the inside line. He can't hold it though. He's got to think of another place because at the minute Dan's attacking De Bont and De Bont's covering him off, Kelly.
Yeah, De Bont knew exactly. As soon as Daniel started to move, De Bont very close into the back of Ben then. He had to get out of it a little bit. But then again, Dan couldn't capitalise on that. Look at the pressure here, Matt. Look at it.
That's incredible, isn't it? De Bont's attacking and defending at the same time. While Ben's not losing anything to O'Reilly. He lost it all on that one lap, didn't he? Where he'd made a couple of mistakes and it brought De Bont back on him. But Ben's not being fazed by this pressure at the moment. Dan has got to find a way of overtaking. Sniffs up the inside at the old hairpin there. That was showing the nose, touring car style there as well. I don't think I've seen the GTs overtake down the Craners, but Dan definitely thought of maybe pulling off a touring car move. Speaking of a touring car move, Matt Neal would have lunged up the inside at McLean's and Dan doesn't.
Well, I was going to say, you can't do it in old hairpin and you can't do it in McLean's, as you said, the famous Matt Neal done it many times up into McLean's, but you have got to be absolutely right on the rear bumper as you come up the hill and to be able to find the space to throw one up the inside. It's a risky move. The best overtaking is probably here into the Melbourne hairpin or into turn one, but De Bont's got it covered every time.
Sorry, Kelly, go on, finish what you were saying.
I was going to say, Dan keeps trying that outside line around the hairpin, but De Bont's got him covered. As you say, he's got to look for something different.
He has. De Bont, at the minute, if this was a book, De Bont has read every single page of the manual and has got Dan Davis covered right now. You have to say, Dan is pulling the same manoeuvre lap after lap. He's got to spring something to catch De Bont off guard.
But Dan has got a very big book of moves.
He has got a big book of moves. The problem is, can he find a page and make one stick? Richard Beasley in the chat. Oh, we do miss Richard Beasley in the chat. Dan's looking like he's got more pace. Indeed, he is. Yeah. But at the moment, I think De Bont's got more pace, but I think De Bont just can't get past Ben. And the problem is, De Bont, it's one eye looking forward, one eye looking in his rear view mirror, and looking which way to go, isn't it? I think De Bont's got more pace than Ben at the moment, if I'm going to be honest. But he just can't get past Ben. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's track position.
And that's the beautiful thing. If you take Silverstone out of the equation, you think of Brands, Alton, Snetterton and Donington Park that we've got on this game. The British circuits, and the only reason I don't add Silverstone to this list is because it's more Grand Prix built. They are unique circuits in the fact of track position is key. You know, and the fact that if you make a move, you've got to be alongside, you've got to be committed. Now, Dan didn't attack De Bont great there.
No, De Bont defended though.
De Bont did
He
defend.
might have
Dan's got
time.
more of a car alongside the outside of De Bont, but look at that, the traction coming out the corner. I think Dan's alongside.
Yeah,
I think Dan is. He
yeah.
is alongside, coming into Goddard's. Here goes Dan. De Bont the long way round. We've seen Jamal can do it. Can De Bont do it? They're still together. De Bont has a bit of a slide and a twitch. Is that nose just alongside Dan? No, it's not.
Yeah.
Dan Davis is through.
Now, Dan didn't try to attack that one at all, but De Bont defended it straight away. That's what gave Dan the run, the extra few meters before he hit the brakes, and that got the job done in the end. It was hard going, but Dan got there in the end.
Berserker saying incredible, we can do olive oil with all that pressure in the chat. And Paul Williams is saying Dan's pushing and on his last track warning already. 53 minutes left in this race.
I don't know about olive oil. I'll have a vodka, thank you. Yeah, the amount of pressure that's going on it. Now let's see if De Bont, if he has got the pace that you think he's got, let's see how much pressure he can put on Dan.
The question is, what does Dan do? Because it's all right Dan being Ben's rear gunner, but he's being the rear gunner to a car that he doesn't need to be the rear gunner for. Do you know what I mean? He's got to be careful. Ramsell has got past Leger and has pulled ahead of Leger.
Ben has let him through.
Right,
what's this about?
Right, Ben's let De Bont go as well.
I know.
Right. Letting Dan go, well, hear me out. Letting Dan go, I think that it's get O'Reilly and slow him down. But he's let De Bont go, and I'm confused as to that one.
Yeah, I don't see why. He knew De Bont was close. He would have known De Bont was close. I don't really understand that one. Don't get that.
No, don't get that at all.
If we can get Chris, if we can get the inside track from you from Ben's stream, what's that about? What? Explain that to me.
So Rob Ramsell, 1.6 clear of Leger now, the man under the radar, flying 18th to 7th in this race at the moment. What a drive from Rob Ramsell in the start of this second race. The Constructors' champion from the Tuesday nights. He's fired up. It's his home circuit here at Donington Park. He's 10 minutes from the track. So he is fired up for Donington Park. Is Ramsell tonight. Cairns trying to hunt down Harris. Where did Hibbs go? Hibbs just dropped down to 17th and way behind Stardog. So not sure what's happened to Hibbs.
Had a problem there.
Yeah, definitely so. Not sure what's happened to him in this one there then. But now Leger coming under pressure from Cardno in this race. Leger was third, let's not forget, in qualifying. So Leger has not had the start to this race he would have wanted, but Ramsell, definitely the man on the move at the moment.
In the chat, Wickham saying that Dan's pushing on his last track warning, so Dan's going to have to start behaving himself or he's going to end up with a drive-through penalty. Chris saying that he hasn't got a clue what's going on with Ben or what that move was about. Rob Smith saying let Dan go to attack O'Reilly, see if he can make a mistake. Well, yeah, absolutely.
See, I get that.
But I don't get why. I mean, I'm sure they would have been slicker with that to do that. I don't feel like they would make that kind of mistake.
Let's go back to race one. Dan lets Ben through, right?
Yeah.
And Dan slotted right in between Ben and O'Reilly. Ben's let Dan through, and he's lost out to De Bont. Maybe just that lack of experience from Ben just creeping into play there at this time being, and obviously the pressure situation. He's going to be nervous. He's going to be feeling up to it. All the emotions will be going through Ben right now, that is for sure. O'Reilly, let's not forget, GT4 champion last season, Who Darren Cup champion this season. The guy's won plenty of races. He's won 2 championships at Simplay Motorsport within the last 2 seasons. He knows what he has to do. He'll be less nervous, I feel, than Ben Rook.
Yes, maybe. Yeah. I can't speak for the nerves of Ben Rook. I've never been in a race. In the comms with him, a party with him, to be able to tell how cool or calm he is. So I don't know how his nerves are right at this moment. He's pulled back into the back of the bob. They've all gone past Steve Millington, who was very courteous and let them all through extremely easy, which is the right thing to do. So they're all past him as a back marker. Now Dan's not catching O'Reilly at any kind of rate of knots.
No, but he is dropping De Bont, just showing the pace of Dan Davis, and we'll wait for the timing tower to update of lap 14 in terms of the timing screens I have in front of me. But Dan on the lap before, lap 13, was 4/10 quicker than O'Reilly. Ben was only 1/10 quicker than O'Reilly. So De Bont matching O'Reilly's pace. So they're all matching or quicker than Kieran at the moment. But Kieran's in the pound seat. He can control his pace. He can look after his tyres. He can do everything he needs to do.
Absolutely, in clean air. And in the chat, Rob Smith asking about, is Ben on a warning? And according to Chris Rook, Ben's got 2 strikes against his name at the moment, so he could do without any more corner cutting. It's so easy in the S chicane, isn't it? The Fogarty S chicane. It's so easy to run wide on the exit and get yourself a warning, and the game is ruthless over this.
It is indeed. Ian McGowan has got past Matt Wright for 13th and 14th. McGowan still got that fastest stats. That takes a point away from Ben in this race. Now De Bont's just got onto the back of Dan a little bit this lap, and Ben's still with him, but look who's come to join the party. Jamal Clouden has come to fight for a little bit here as well. So Clouden wanting that 4th place. He's got nothing to play for. He's not bothered whether he gets in Ben's way or Kieran O'Reilly's way. He wants 4th place. He wants another podium. He'd love a race win. He's going to just go out there and drive his race.
And why shouldn't he?
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jamal has now, as you say, joined the party. So he's caught back up. Now this is a 4-way fight now for the or a 5-way fight for the lead. But Kieran O'Reilly still with a comfortable gap at the moment.
Yeah, last time round O'Reilly 4/10 quicker than Dan. Dan 4/10 slower than De Bont and 3/10 slower than Ben Rook. But Jamal Clouden was nearly a second quicker than Dan on the last lap. He is the man on the moves at the moment, and Dan has got De Bont within a second, Ben's within a second of him, and Clouden's within a second of Ben Rook.
Yeah. This
is going to get spicy, I feel.
Absolutely, and in the chat there, who is that? I can never pronounce that one. Ben
Berserker.
Anything's possible, is it not? Yeah, you're right. Anything is possible. We've got 50 minutes of racing left, and absolutely anything can happen. It only takes one mistake.
Sorry, that was Michael Harris having a big moment through Coppice Corner. He's been overtaken by Cairns. He hit the curb and just slid the rear end through. Now McGowan's going to have a look up the inside. Is he into the fog? Yes, he is. They rub doors a little bit and McGowan goes through. They both end up just kissing up a bit of gravel, and Matt Ryan may fancy a bit of Michael Harris into the Melbourne Loop. He is going to have a look indeed. Up the inside he goes, and Harris, due to his slide, loses out 2 places.
That's how it all goes wrong very quickly, very quickly in this group of really cracking drivers. And back up front, all kind of stalemate at the moment, and Dan is pulling away from De Bont. He has got more pace, but he's really not dragging Kieran Riley in at any kind of rate of knots. This is one of those moments, Matt, isn't it? This is the mid-race lull, isn't it? Before all hell breaks loose in the last 10 minutes. That's how it usually pans out.
You say that, but Ben's still within 8/10 of De Bont, and Jamal's within half a second of Ben Rook. So you say a mid-race lull. I'm not too sure we're going to get that lull, because I think that if Ben can get close to De Bont, he'll pass him, and I think if Clouden can get on Ben, he'll try to pass him. So I know what you're saying. We're normally at that stage of the race, but Donington Park doesn't seem to be providing us with that mid-stage lull.
Well, yes and no. My point being is that none of them are really attacking each other at this moment. They're all just as De Bont.
You say that as De Bont nearly ends up in the bootlet of Dan Davis. Did Dan have to stand on the brakes through the chicane to save him getting a penalty? I think he did, because De Bont was over a second behind Dan. I think Dan nearly got close to a drive-through.
Yeah, because if you do run wide, if you keep it nailed, you're going to get a warning. If you get too many warnings, you get a drive-through. We've gone through that, right? But if you brake, if you know you're going to go wide and you brake and you lose time, it then compensates and just gives you, just tells you that you've been track limits, but it doesn't give you an official warning. So, did Dan have a moment in the chicane, stand on the brakes to stop himself getting being penalised, which brought in De Bont? But Dan's pulled away again now, look.
He has indeed. Mike's just had a slide through Redgate. Phil, it's 4-week break, and Class, it's only 4 week. It normally is 6, but that's because of Christmas approaching. We've got to take Christmas into New Year into account. So that gives us a 10-week season. If it was a 6-week break, it would have only been an 8-week season coming in to
do in 4 weeks.
Lot to do in 4 weeks. Lot to get confirmed. Lot to get sorted. But there will be some unique fun events, special events as we like to call them, an endurance event as well as Porsche night and a classic car night there. No time to gain, says Chris in the chat. Well, we are in 44 minutes left. We are on an interesting window at the moment with track limits, and we had drivers last night saying that they start to pick up, low tyre pressures at this stage of the race.
I said it earlier. I had 3 slow punches towards the end of the race. I also had a drive-through penalty for corner cutting, which I think the last time I raced at Donny, I got that as well. And it's so easy to go greedy on that chicane.
McGowan's got past Cairns, and McGowan on a charge. He's now onto the back of John Goudet for 10th and 11th place in this one then. So Goudet would love a top 10 finish, but the way McGowan's going, I don't think that's going to be possible at the time being, because I think McGowan's just going to charge through. Mike's trying to get onto the back of Cardno. Cloudon's within 3/10 of Ben. Cloudon is on a charge at the moment. I'm just keeping my eyes on the Rosowski-Ramsel gap at the moment. That's 6.8. Ramsel has been the man on the mission from 18th to 7th, let's not forget. Great drive from Ramsel in this one as we approach half distance in this race. Only seen Leger and Millington into the pit lane. So what will happen for the rest of this? But Jamal's looking racy here. He's got the pace.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, Jamal always looks racy when he's on track. He has, I want to say, an aggressive style. That's possibly a little bit too harsh. He's not an aggressive style. He's an attacker. He doesn't mess about. He likes to get stuck in, and as you say, he just wants the best result he can get. I know for sure that he doesn't want to crash into anybody, but he is going to attack.
For sure.
Again, Ben has got the huge pressure now. He needs to get back in front of DeBon. Dan isn't catching on O'Reilly at all by the looks of it. This is just not panning out. This plan A, B, or C, or D, or whatever it is.
No, it's not. And Ben's coming under increasing pressure from Jamal Cloudon down through the Craner curves. They go 19th time of asking. 42 minutes in this race left to go. John Goudet caught into the pit lane then. And Jamal all over the back of Ben Rook in this race at the moment. Michael Harris also comes into the pit lane this time around. So in he comes, and Jamal getting closer to the back of Ben Rook here as Ben again has a nervous wobble on the exit of McLean's corner. Jamal's eyes are going to be wide open here seeing Ben wiggle like that.
Yeah, a little bit of oversteer on the traction out on McLean's, which will give Jamal hope. Both of them looking a little bit loose on the way out of Coppice, not hugely, but
Ben got a bit of a poor run, Kelly, out the fog. Yes, as Jamal's having a look. Ben doesn't cover him off fully. We've seen Jamal go around the outside of one hairpin. He might fancy a look at this one as well, but doesn't get it done there and tries to tuck underneath. But Ben gets a better exit than Jamal here in this race. The Cloud9 driver coming into the final corner of Goddard's, looking to go around the outside again, just outbraked himself a little bit, and that's gives Ben a bit of breathing space, not a lot, but just a little bit for the time being. Now the Bont's pulled away because Ben's now having to defend from Jamal Cloudon in this one, and you have to say Jamal got past Rosowski and he quickly gained onto this trio.
Yes, I didn't. Yeah, absolutely. And the Cloudon now, I think Ben did exactly enough to defend that, to be fair. Cloudon wasn't diving to the inside, so I think Ben did absolutely enough as Cloudon gets a little bit deep into the old hairpin and has lost a little bit of time now to Ben. So, good fights here. Good fights here for these positions.
Indeed there is. Matthias Class in the chat, and he plans on 2 separate championships for the Pro Platinum and the Semi-Pro Silver class. There is possibly going to be, the rumours that we're talking about in admin-wise, is that each category will be its own championship, but points will be scored for overall, not per class.
Which is the best way to do it, I'm sure.
It is the best way to do it from what we've worked out. Now, Ben kicked up a bit of gravel again there. Jamal's lost out this lap, going to drop back down to Cardno, who's lost out to Mike Matthews, and as we can see, Kelly, darkness just falling upon Donington Park. We've done a track walk around this circuit at this kind of weather conditions this time of night.
Didn't feel very slippery on me Vans, but I'm sure it's going to get as it gets colder, it's going to get a little bit more slippery.
What I was going to say is as well, we've been here on clear nights, we've been here on overcast nights, we've been here on cloudy nights,
windy nights,
where when it's cloudy like this, it really gets dark.
Yes, it does. Yes, and both of the time. No, what have I been here in October, and I've been here in April, and yeah. So October was absolutely fantastic. That one year, it was like a summer's weekend, as I remember. T-shirt weather. Yeah. And the April one was blowing an absolute hoolie. It's quite exposed here, although that the wind direction is never. Wind never seems to be an issue on this game. And
although we've got 2 kilometres an hour wind now.
Well, yeah, 2 kilometres an hour.
No, but I've never seen that change from 0, and all of a sudden we've got 2 for some reason at Donington. It must just be a thing.
Yeah, it is a windy. You're very close to to the airport here as well, which is incredibly annoying at 6 o'clock in the morning when you've got big planes going over. Believe you me,
hungover and aeroplanes.
Hungover and all the rest. Hungover, really? Never get hungover, my friend. Hair of the dog in the morning. Avoid a hangover by drinking more. Yeah, but there's an airport very, very close, and sometimes you see the planes in the game. So I mean, that's the level of detail. You see planes every now and then. It's very close to the airport. You get if you like planes, you get a very close look at them.
If you're wondering where the airport is, McLean's and Coppice at the top end of the circuit.
Yeah.
There's a concrete wall, a brown-looking concrete stone wall. Yeah. That is pretty much the runway on the other side of that.
Is it Birmingham? Birmingham Airport.
No, it's East Midlands. East Midlands.
East Midlands. Yeah. Yeah, East Midlands Airport. It's quite a busy airport, and as I said, they run through the night as well.
Did a track walk with Rob Ramsell here in April at Donington Park. It was his first ever track walk on any circuit, because he didn't realise you could do them. Yeah, and we got up towards McLean's, and he's like, "Shh, listen, you hear that? That's a plane starting up." And I'm like, "I just hear a plane. Don't know if it's starting up, landed, whatever." And he's telling me the details because he used to work at East Midlands Airport.
I see. Yeah, right. Yeah. And if you do a track walk, it's very interesting. You'll be surprised how wide these tracks are, although they don't look at it. You know, we do at Donington Park. I've done Thruxton. We do regularly. We had the pleasure of doing Alton Park this year, and it's funny, Matt. It's almost like meeting someone famous. You know, you've seen these corners, you've driven these corners, and then you actually get to see them in real life. You know, we walked around. We did track walk on Alton Park, which is. It seems like an awful long way because we did the full GP loop as well, but you know, it seems extremely narrow, but when you're stood on it, it doesn't seem that narrow. And you know, some of the corners are just a lot bigger than you think they are, and that's if you ever get the chance to have a track walk, really do it, just to give you an idea of exactly how much tarmac is there.
It's also we've always said about Goddard's the final hairpin. You said it the first time we met at Donington. You didn't realise how actually banked Goddard's was until we got round it, and that's why I think it makes it such a tricky corner. McGowan on the back of Mike Matthews here through Redgate. There you go, both just kicking up a bit of grass. Millington moving out the way for the lead cars in the background. He's obviously already pitted in this race. You heard some tyres squealing there. Not sure who that was. It may have been Rob a little further up the road, squealing through the old hairpin. But back to that battle for third place because Ben's getting closer to the Bond again, and Cloudon's going with him. Dan's brought the gap down quite significant to O'Reilly. It's 1.7 seconds now.
Yes, it is. I haven't been paying attention. I'm still sat on with Cloudon, who's just slightly dropped off the back of Ben Rook now, and I don't know if he's just playing the waiting game a little bit. You know, and just toned it down a little bit and given himself a little bit of space. He hasn't dropped off a lot, but just a little bit from the back of this now. Ben's still in close company with the Bon, and as I said, this is what I mean by a bit of a lull. You know, they're close company, but no one's attacking. They're just going about their business for a minute, and we're half distance.
We are at half distance. Dan Davis has now lost out half a second to O'Reilly over the last two sectors, so just dropping back a little bit. Rob Ramsell into the pit lane at the half stage mark. Ian McGowan is also into the pit lane at the halfway mark as well. And really is starting to get dark now, Kelly. We said about it 2-3 laps ago. It's getting darker. It really is coming increasingly dark now. The artificial light of the car's just starting to take over the circuit a little bit. Although Hibbs doesn't have his on at the moment, so clearly feeling that he's okay to go for now. But yeah, closest fight this one for third place between Ben and De Bomb.
Yeah, it certainly is. In the chat at the moment.
John Gooday, sorry, John Gooday, drive-through penalty, track limits. So that is the first one of the evening.
First one indeed. I don't think it's going to be the last either. There's a lot of these guys already up at the limit of warnings. So I was just going to say, DJ Phil.
Patrick Ledger drive-through penalty for track limits.
There we go. Cha-ching, cha-ching, like a fruit machine. Here they go. Yeah. So as I said, that probably won't be the last either. As Jamal goes to the pits.
It is a big long race indeed, Chris. What was you going to say about DJ Phil?
I just wondered what he was on about. I didn't quite understand his comment. Hey, kids, toy being played.
We heard you jingling your glass with ice in it, I assume.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. See, DJ Phil's got his DJ headphones on and can probably hear absolutely everything. Yeah, I was just enjoying a blood orange cider, and it was quite nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Patrick Ledger then still with his drive-through.
You asked.
Patrick Ledger still with his drive-through to do. He did come out. Oh, I dropped my microphone now. He did come out 10 seconds. 10 seconds ahead of Rob Ramsell in this race. Leger's now coming in for that drive-through penalty, so that should give Ramsell his position back. Cloudens took a tyre change there, if you ask me. Then
probably. Yeah, he's been a while.
Let's see if that strategy works out for him. I'm not sure it's going to in this one, but Ramsell will get through. 19 seconds you lose for a drive-through penalty. So Ramsell will be your second place pit leader, if you will, because Jamal is out the road up from him.
Out the road up from him, yep, absolutely.
Up the road,
that way.
Yeah.
Out from him, yep. I know what you meant.
Yeah.
I got it. Yeah. So Clouden back on his way. He's got free air for a minute. And we'll see how that pans out for him at the moment. And where are we? Ben Rook still staring at the back end of that Ferrari. And what's going on in front? Dan has just lapped.
He's just lapped Matt Wright, who's just come out the pit lane. I think Matt's repaired damage to his car.
And O'Reilly is just about to lap McGowan. So we'll see how compliant McGowan's going to be. I'm sure he'll be reasonably compliant. He's quite close and been quite close for a couple of corners now.
Yeah, and he's not darting out the way at the moment, is he? So just holding O'Reilly a little bit, which could benefit Dan slightly, just to gain a little bit of time. So it's 2 seconds. O'Reilly, at the moment, looking at these lap times, seems to be gaining in the first sector over Dan. Dan seems to have the second 2 sectors covered, look. So it was 2.0, it's gone up to 2.3, so maybe I'm wrong. But Dan did lap a car in the middle sector that time around.
Yeah, I'm going to say McGowan's got no affiliation with this. No, if you know what I mean. He isn't part of either stable that could win this drivers. So, he's got no, and certainly a blue flag there I just seen waved. So he's not gaining for anybody, or not blocking for anybody.
Dan's coming in. Dan's coming in with half an hour to go. We'll see what this stop is like. So Dan Davis is into the pit lane here in this race. Is he thinking that the traffic's just getting too much? He wants to get out of it. Stardog's exiting the pit lane now. McGowan has got fastest lap of the race and is still ahead of O'Reilly. There are still blue flags being thrown his way.
Three blue flags, isn't it?
3 corners.
3 corners of blue flags. So we're nearly a lap in and he's quite close. So another blue flag there. And another blue. I mean, Kieran is not climbing all over the back of McGowan.
No, he's not.
It's fair to say. But sure, it's distracted him a little bit.
Dan come out to avoid the traffic. He's just come out behind Steve Millington, who's traffic, but Steve will probably be compliant and is.
He is.
But Dan isn't far off the back of Keynes, who hasn't yet pitted, and that is for position. So Keynes won't have to yield out of Dan's way here, while Keynes is still going on the circuit. So, did Dan make the right call to avoid the back markers? Because if he if that was his thinking, he's came out in, he's going to be soon on the traffic of cars for position, and they're not going to be as easy to pass.
No, it's always a gamble, isn't it? It's difficult to judge exactly where you're going to come out. So, it could be a gamble from Dan. I don't know. Maybe he just felt like he was going nowhere with his current strategy. So,
I've just been on board the bump there, and in the background you can see the Simplay straight. Dan was warming the tyres up, it looked like. So maybe his stop wasn't long enough for tyres, but it was definitely... Obviously, they're going to drop cooler by sitting in that pit lane and going at pit lane speed for the 27 seconds it is for a splash and dash. So, yeah, Dan obviously wanting them tyres to come back up to him. Ben, within 7/10, the bonds looked a little squirrely through the old hairpin there, but Ben's not close enough to make a move. Kieran O'Reilly still sat at pretty much the same gap to McGowan as what it has been. McGowan maybe just a little bit further forward.
Tiny bit, yeah, absolutely. I think it's quite strange at the moment. The Bont is not catching O'Reilly. I mean, it's not doing O'Reilly any harm at the moment, just a little bit on the bizarre side, I think,
Yeah, like you say, De Bont's not catching him, so I don't feel like it's doing O'Reilly any bad.
No, it's not doing any... No, not at all. But
I tell you what, though, I've not noticed blue flags being waved, so has McGowan just broken that blue flag section now?
Yeah, he might have done. There isn't a blue there on the right-hand side where there normally is. He might well have done. And now there's another blue. I just think it's a little bit risky. If McGowan has a problem, he could well end up, Kieran being involved in that problem. I don't know. I don't know. If Kieran's not bothered about it and McGowan's playing reasonably within the rules...
no blues coming down the craners.
No.
But
I think he's dipping in and out of that blue zone, isn't he?
Like you said, though, Kelly, De Bont's not being able to capitalise, and neither's Ben.
No.
It's not hurting O'Reilly, so I don't think O'Reilly would be bothered at this stage of the race. So your running order with 27 minutes left to go. It's Kieran O'Reilly from De Bont, from Ben Ruck, Rozalski from then Mike Matthews with Cardno 6th. Cairns is 7th from Dan Davis, your lead pit runner. Hibbs is 9th from Jamal Clouden. Then it's Rob Ramsell, Leger, Harris, McGowan with fastest lap. Matt Wright, Stardog, Goudet and Millington there then. Well, Goudet's looking a bit racy on the back of Rozalski, I saw this. So maybe Goudet took tyres and he's looking really racy on the back of the BMW. That tyres will be coming up to 40 minutes worn here. So interesting to see that John's got the pace. Lapped cars are allowed to unlap themselves, let's not forget.
They are.
So they've got to be able to pull away after. So we'll see what John does. Obviously, he's trying to recover from 17th place in this race. Ben within 6/10, and O'Reilly's actually gapped De Bont to now 6 seconds.
Yes, he seems to be pulling away a little bit. So all's comfortable and under control for O'Reilly right at this moment.
It is indeed. Hibbs is on his way out the pit lane. Where was Rob Ramsell there? Then Rob Ramsell has gone past Hibbs, who just comes out the pits. Leger has also passed Hibbs. So has Michael Harris, and so did Ian McGowan. Matt Wright did not in that one. Danny's 1.3 behind Cairns. Now, this is Dan's problem. He's gaining on the cars in front for position. And if they don't pit, Dan's got to find a way past them here. I think if they don't pit, Dan's possibly gone too early.
It's a possibility for sure. We'll see. We'll see how it pans out, how he can deal with this traffic, and if he can deal with it quickly. He might have a championship friend in Cardno when he gets there, but Carnes, again, there's no affiliation with anything that's going on. He's got no reason to be good to anybody,
MSA. He's an
MSA?
He's an MSA driver. Same stable as O'Reilly. So. Sorry,
I forgot who they are. There's so little of them left.
Indeed, they are.
History, my friend, that is, yeah. In all seriousness, I'd like to see him back next year.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I miss Hupert's Larry style. I really do.
Yeah.
I loved it.
So Cairns could just play devil's advocate to Dan here.
Yeah, he could do. And you don't know what people... And I'm not saying for 1 minute that Carnes has got any grudges with Daniel or anybody else on the grid. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is you don't know what's happened in the past and how people still feel about certain drivers,
And let's make this clear, just because they're in the same stable doesn't mean that there is bad blood. It doesn't mean that there is anything between them, but
Yeah.
If you watch the British touring cars, you watch Formula 1, let's take Formula 1 for example, would you for 1 second think that if Max Verstappen had the chance to win the championship and Norris and Piastri are behind, Lawson and Hadjar in the V-Carb Racing Bulls, do you think they're going to hold them a little bit? Because 100% they would do that for the Red Bull team. It's a part of racing. That is the way it works. Cardno into the pits. That's one less car for Dan to overtake. Dan definitely now on the back of Keynes. Ben Rooks dropped out the second to De Bont. De Bont's gained on O'Reilly a couple of tenths as well. Let's go with it. This is interesting at the minute. This is the closest fight on circuit, Keynes and Dan.
Yes, it is. I'm following that one myself right at the moment. It was more your example there gave an affiliation again to, all being in the Red Bull camp, as Dan's got a great run through old hairpin. Can't just let him through.
Yeah, don't fight him.
Come out of the way. He either thought, well, let him get on with it. He's in a battle helping the championship protagonist, or he just thought, this ain't my fight. Dan's quicker than me.
Yeah, exactly.
Let him go. Just let him go. Sometimes it's easier just to let the faster guy go and concentrate on your own race.
Now, go on.
I just say, Carnes ain't going to win this, not unless something really odd happens. So why get involved?
100%. Yeah, 100%. It's going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on. Top 5 plus Kane still to pit in this race then, as we come towards the last 23 minutes of the season, if you will. And the light really has now gone. Artificial lights of the cars definitely starting to take over in this race. I'm just wondering, who is that behind Ben on circuit? That is Matt Wright, who's chasing Hibbs, who's ahead of De Bont. So Wright trying to follow the leaders through to get on the back of Hibbs here.
Yes, indeed, exactly that. And another great comment from Rob Smith this evening. There's certain people who defend slightly harder against compared to others. That's exactly right. Some people will have a fight regardless of what the situation is and not think it through. That's kind of towards the point of what I was saying earlier. But we'll have to get Rob Smith in the comms box. He's obviously talking a lot of sense.
He can be our Ted Kravitz.
He could be. Fancy the job, Rob, just like the Ted Kravitz role?
He can just sit there on his PC or laptop, lurking through everybody's streams, checking track limits and just telling us little information,
Exactly,
down to Rob in the pit lane. What's Rob got for it? And just go for this.
Absolutely, great, absolutely.
But
in fact, that would be a great position. And I love Ted Kravitz. Don't we love Ted Kravitz?
Oh, brilliant guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rob's notebook we could have after the Simplay race.
Rob's notebook, imagine it. Yeah. I would have thought. I mean, I say I love Ted Kravitz. I mean, I love his style, but he does go a little bit random at times.
And we don't.
Exactly what I was going to say. I just thought about that and went cheese on toast, pineapple, lawnmowers,
Harris has had a spin. He's gone a little wide at Coppice, touched the grass. He's gone around, pulled straight off the circuit because O'Reilly's coming, and that's allowed McGowan to move up into P number 12. McGowan has dropped O'Reilly, by the way. He has properly gone. That may be the reason as to why he didn't want to be stuck behind the race leader. He's clearly got more pace than O'Reilly right now. Matthias Klaas saying, wow, they still haven't pitted. They're the Pro Platinums for a reason, and that's why, because they have not pitted in this race. Matt right now, look, he has followed the leaders through. Hibbs has let the leaders go, and all of a sudden Hibbs is on the back of Harris for a position. Wright's to the outside of Hibbs at the hairpin, and they nearly make contact, and they both get through, or all three of them get through nice and easy. But Harris now brought into this fight between Hibbs and Matt Wright.
We've seen this done in motorsport before, and I think a young Max Verstappen might have done it in his early years, of just tucking in behind the cars on the lead lap, and the ones that are overtaking the back markers are just being opportunist. And that was a little bit what Hibbs tried to do there, especially as Harris was recovering from his incident. So Hibbs with an opportunist attempt. Couldn't quite make it stick.
The bonus tonight, Chris, with the tyres is the pure fact of it is cool. The temperature is not there at all, and it's just getting cooler, so the tyres are going to last a lot more. Tyres can do roughly an hour as well before they really start to drop off. Hibbs has gone a little wide on the exit of McLean's. Matt Wright having a look into Coppice. Is he going to try out the inside? No, he's not. Holds a tighter line. Forces Hibbs just a little wide on exit. Can't get the power down though, can Matt, or can he? Because he's getting alongside, down towards the chicane.
Be brave.
On the outside line, side by side, coming into it. Right in the orange Simplay McLaren. Hibbs in the grey and green Greasy Bandits McLaren, and Hibbs stays on top for now. Leger on the back of Ramsell. So this was a fight that was happening earlier that's redeveloping since Leger pitted early on. Ramsell. Oh, sorry, go on. Oh, drive through. That is Rosowski. Third one of the night. Track limits.
Yeah. I was going to say it's incredibly hard to go side by side through that chicane and make it stick. It's just, it's hard enough with getting through it without having a track limits penalty, let alone trying to overtake somebody. So yeah, very, very tricky one to get through on there.
So Rosowski drive through. He's also still got to pit, so that's going to hurt him
twice
in this race. 19 seconds for a drive through though, so it's not a bad one here at Donington Park. Relatively short pit lane. And Leger now on the back of Ramsell. Ramsell, don't forget, got past Leger pretty quickly early on as Leger sideways onto the grass at Coppice. Round he goes. Ramsell will come away with that one. Now then, Cardno gets through. McGowan gets through. Where is Harris? Not quite close enough. Or is he? That's McLean's. He's just gone through. Leger had to wait for the leader to come through. And no, not close enough for the time being. Harris has pulled away from Hibbs and Matt Wright a little bit. Their fight settled down as well. So where did Rosowski come out after that drive-through? Behind Dan Davis. And, no, was he in front of Dan? No, he's in front of Dan Davis. So he stayed in front of Dan even after his drive-through.
Yeah, still got a pit though, so that's going to drop him down the order a bit later on. He's on the back of Mike Matthews again, who hasn't pitted. He's now in fourth place, but as I said, hasn't pitted. Mike going along quite nicely under the radar, travelling along quite nice. I want to get back to the tyres thing, Matt. It is cooler tonight than it was last night. Track temperature 15 degrees. I think it was more like about 17 last night. It is a bit cooler because of the cloud cover, although tyres could still be an issue. As I said earlier, this is the only time playing this game that I've ever had a slow puncher, and I had 3 of them. I know Gary Leach and Argent were saying, oh yeah, we've had those as well. So it could happen here. I mean, mine might have something to do with the brakes on for 70 minutes, but it's still an issue. It still could be an issue as Rosowski now takes his pit stop.
He does indeed. So he'll be ahead behind Dan and Kent, maybe even Jamal Clouden in this race. But what about Rob Ramsell? Ramsell could be in contention there to maybe pass him. Matt found a bump on the curb of McLean's there, so that's just put him a little off of Hibbs at the moment. So let's just go to Ramsell, who's at the Melbourne Loop a moment. He's got a fired up McGowan charging after him. 4 seconds is that gap. McGowan, tell you what, McGowan's been on fire. Whatever happened lap 1 to drop him to the back of the pack, he's charged through the field. But Ramsell, 18th place he qualified.
Yeah, I was going to say Ramsell hasn't been tardy at all tonight, has he? Do you know what I mean? He's been exceptionally good, and definitely Donny Park just suits some people. Do you know what I mean? It brings the best out in some people. It's a great track, and it's. I think luck's been my problem every time I've raced there, it does. Some people just absolutely click with the flow of it and accelerate. If you like the track, Matt, it's a little bit easier, isn't it?
100%.
If you enjoy it.
Yeah, 100%. We've got a good fight, Kelly, though. 12th and 13th here, Harris versus Leger, and then just behind them, we've got the Hibbs and Matt Wright fight still raging on.
Yes, indeed, and spicing up down the lower end of the grid. As you say, Matt Wright now giving Hibbs a hard time. As Leger has just, he was having a look at Harris. They got very close before they got to McLean's. And a couple of little battles. They're all going to be close on each other. Hibbs is pulling into the back of Leger and Matt Wright. We've now got a 4-way battle here.
4-way battle here, and this is the closest action on the circuit at the moment. Leger had a look on Harris there. The driver of the day poll's gone up early because we will do a driver of the season poll towards the end. Leger pretty much pushing Harris through. the back
Here comes
on the
McGowan.
foggy S's, and McGowan's having. Here comes Matt Wright. Leger on the inside of Harris. Matt Wright on the inside of Hibbs. Move done for Leger. Is it done for Wright? He'll now be on the outside line because Hibbs has managed to keep his nose there on the outside line of Melbourne in towards Goddard's. There you go. And Hibbs should take that inside back. Does take the inside line back, and Matt and Hibbs stay as they are, but Leger ahead of Harris.
McGowan on the lights. I don't know if he's just saying good move, mate, or whatever. It's really hard to tell on this game because the lights sequence themselves. And Hibbs, I was going to say the reigning Pro-Am champion, but no longer. That's now Langley is now your Pro-Am champion after last night. If you didn't get a chance at the action, go and have a look last night's race, and you can see all the races Simplay on YouTube. They're all there to be seen, and there is some crackers, some absolute classics. Up and down the grid.
Kelly?
Oh, sorry, Matt. Harris has gone deep in McLean's. Up the inside into Coppice goes Hibbs. Has he gone too deep? No, he hasn't. Has he? Harris gets a look up the inside, tucks back in, and McGowan unable to capitalise on any of this.
Matt Wright.
Harris Matt Wright. Being able to, wrong orange car. Now he's got to run. Matt Wright's got to run on Harris. He's going to have a go down. He's got the inside line into the Melbourne hairpin, and as he got it done, he's on the apex, accelerating out the other side. Harris is still there.
No, he's not.
He's not. No, he's got it. He got it. Matt Wright has got it done. Oh, as Harris goes very late on the brakes. That was that was an optimistic move. I think he was just late on the brakes and had to take avoiding action on that one, and did the right thing and didn't plough into the back of Matt Wright.
And he's now coming under pressure from John Goudet in this fight. Still, Keynes, Mike, Rook, De Bont and O'Reilly, 2 pit window's got 7 3/4 minutes left of it being open at this moment. What a season it's been. And Kelly, you were talking about classics on the Simplay channel as well, the old races we've done over ACC Project Cars, and Harris has dropped it down the craners. Off he goes with the old hairpin. Goudet will go through, and Harris all on his own there, just touched the grass, and off he went. He struggled in that Audi. I think that'll be going in the bonfire of cars here at Simplay Motorsport.
And there'll be a few.
But I'm going to put this one in the instant classics of Simplay Motorsport. What a night it's been.
Yes, absolutely, and I mean you can say that about a lot of the season, can't you? Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, a classic season. We've had many of them over the years, and was it season 3? Dan and Gary Leach and Leachy's against what was
Shake
Dan
and
called?
Bake.
Shake and Bake, that's it, with D Biggs. That was a cracking good season all the way through, and coming back up, your Pro-Am season with Plava. Yeah, that was a classic, and
yours with Rabbit Joe and Mace Gamer and Argent. That was another cracking one.
That was a good one, and in that the Renault season was, wasn't it? Yeah, that was a good season, and later years Overtaker and Dan, and there's been there's so many races. I don't know. Have you got a running total of how many races we've run?
Well, in terms of streams on the channel, I can tell you how many streams we've done. Not all of them are races, because a few of them were practice
sort of
sessions,
highlights and stuff as well, isn't it?
But there is 757 videos. Some are highlights, some are YouTube shorts. But that is a lot of. This might be 758. That is a lot of content to get through. If you want to get through it all, please go and do so. It's been some fantastic racing over the years.
I started looking back at some of the early Project Cars seasons, and I said it. I mean, Project Cars now, looking at ACC and where we are, is a different beast, a very much different beast now, and the way that the cars handle, the way that the game looks, the improvement in graphics, in processing speed, and so on and so forth. And good old Project Cars, we had some great laughs on it, but it looks a little bit dated now, or it looks very dated now, to be fair. But there's still some great racing on there. There really is,
Huge.
Yeah, and so much. I mean, I'd forgotten about some of the scraps. You know, you remember your race wins, you remember your pole positions, but you know, some of the scraps we had, and I mentioned it the other night that Zolder in the wet season, I think that might be 3 or 4. Pro-Am was such a good race. Near enough everybody led that race for a while.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
One season you missed out there was the GT5 season. Cracking season. Not the outcome, but a cracking season.
One of legend.
Nonetheless.
One of legend.
One of many.
Yeah.
Definitely. McGowan's on the back of Ramsell. No, he's not, because as I turned to them, McGowan is well clear of Ramsell. So Ramsell 10th. Hey, Ramsell cannot be disheartened with that. He has had a great race here at Donington. We're still watching the Hibbs and Matt Wright fight, and I'll tell you what, the more these two are fighting, the more John Goudet's coming into play here.
Yes, indeed, yeah. I was just reading in the chat, and Rob Smith saying something about a cheque for 10k. Oh, that's not me. I'm not giving no cheques out. Does people even use cheques anymore?
I mean, what you didn't realise is you just wrote a Monopoly cheque.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, Team Audio Sport only pays in Skittles. We were talking about a different currency earlier, weren't we? What was that?
What currency was it? Yeah.
What were we talking about? We were talking off air about paying in something else. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was now. Rusks.
That's it, because Ben's so young, we were going to pay in rusks.
Right, yeah. Kieran O'Reilly's in, he's done, he's on his way out the pit lane in this race. Ben, by the way, dropped to 4 seconds behind that of De Bont. He's lost out quite a bit of time to De Bont over the course of this race, so just really feel like it's slipping away from Ben. O'Reilly's out the pit lane, and where's Dan Davis? Well, he's nowhere near. So O'Reilly, I think Dan pitted way too early, because Mike's just coming to the pits. Dan's just crossed the line. He's some margin behind Kieran O'Reilly.
Yes, he is, and it hasn't quite panned out. The Team Audio Sport guys have been absolutely brilliant this season. I can't praise them enough. They've brought us to a championship, but it's just not. They're just not racy tonight, are they? Not racy enough. Kieran O'Reilly is doing exactly what he needs to do, and just going about it steadily and comfortably. I know I was going to ask you, Matt, is it any other constructor won Pro-Am and Pro?
In what sense? The same? Perilously close there for Matt Wright on the back of Hibbs, and John Goudet's now right in this mix as well. Matt Wright is in a greasy sandwich at the moment. Do we mean like same team as one constructors and in both Pro and Pro?
Well, the same team as a team named, because Team Audio Sport has now done Pro-Am and Pro.
I don't believe there has been.
No.
Don't believe there has been.
That's what I thought.
Matt Wright's outside of Redgate. That'll be a brave move round there and doesn't get it done. But John Goudet has definitely come to play. This three-way fight is for 13th place. De Bont is in the pits. He's done his stop. He's coming out the pit lane. Was his stop good enough to get ahead of O'Reilly? No, it was not. But it is well good enough to get ahead of Dan Davis. So, Dan just pitted too early for me. Maybe he's being cautious because of his track limits. We're going to go straight back to that fight down the order, though, because Matt Wright's got a run coming up the hill at McLean's. It's Goudet going to look up the inside. Matty will move Goudet into the back of Wright, and Wright speared off towards the airport with a late check-in. He's going to miss his flight, and Goudet sits and waits for Matt Wright to get going.
Yeah, that was let's move on from that. Stardog comes through. I think Stardog is he's in for position, isn't he?
Yeah, that's position.
Yeah. Okay, move on.
Right, Cordno is got Leger on the back of him. Leger got ahead of him earlier on, but then had the moment himself. Keynes has done his pit stop. Where's Cloud? And Cloud 12 seconds off the back of Dan, so his changing tyres just hasn't worked either. He's not gaining on Dan with the pace. He wasn't 12 seconds off the back of Dan. Ben Rook is in. This is going to be vital. Ben had to pit this lap. He had no other option but to pit this lap. Yep. I don't feel like O'Reilly's coming into Goddard's now. Ben had a slow stop in the first race. He stops at his box now, pretty much. Should be up, down, and green.
Hasn't moved yet.
No, hasn't moved yet. O'Reilly goes through. De Bont now leaves Goddard's. Here comes Ben Rook then. We're going to see Ben Rook appear from the pit lane. There's Matt Wright pitting, as does John Goudet. Ben Rook, is he going to come out ahead of De Bont? No, he's not. He's closer than the 4 seconds, but he is not going to be ahead of De Bont. But again, Ben, well clear of that of Dan Davis. Dan's strategy just didn't work tonight, did it?
I think Dan may have said, well, what else have we got to lose? You know, it could have panned out. You know, these alternate strategies are hero zero stuff, aren't they? You know,
of course.
You either look like a genius, or you go, oh well, that didn't really work, did it? Until you try it, you don't know.
Well, Ben's got 5 minutes to get De Bont for second place in this race. Vote for driver of the day. I'm going to close now because we've got the driver of the season vote up. So the chat has voted for Kieran O'Reilly for driver of the day. Fair enough. I've already got mine in play at the moment.
I don't know. I really don't. So I've got a few minutes to think about it a bit further. But yes. Where are we? So who's close? Ben Rook is now right on the back of De Bont. So he's got I mean, all he can do now is have the best result he can. He's probably said to himself, you know, this championship's gone. Kieran's doing everything he can, and Kieran's looking, like every bit the champion. Ben will come back stronger and harder next season, I have no doubt. But now it's just bragging rights, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, what we all do it for, to be the highest we can be in any particular race. So,
driver of the season poll's gone up. If you're wondering why Matt Wright's been added, that's for his gold win, because I feel like that deserves a bit of recognition in this season. That is, I believe, Matt Wright off at the Craners, so I'm not sure what's happened to him at the Craners. Well, he's just come into the pit, so I don't know if he's repaired damage, because he's just come out of the pits a moment ago. But Goudet's got ahead of him, and Matt Wright now off at the Craners lets the leaders through. We've got Mike trying to catch down Rosowski as well. Chris saying Sliss podium and second in the drivers. He's got to be happy. Of course he's got to be happy.
Yes.
Massively so. It's only been 3 seasons. He's got to be happy with that he's been with Simplay, or 2 seasons he's been with Simplay, whatever it's been. Of course he's going to be happy. John going very slow and actually indicating off the circuit if him and Matt had another coming together.
I don't know. Matt was extremely slow after their incident, and I think he's carrying an awful lot of damage.
John's just let Matt go again and got back up to speed, so I don't know if maybe that's why Matt Wright was off. Maybe them two's come together again. Ben and Kieran show next season is going to be epic. I don't think you're going to see a Ben and Kieran show. I think you're going to see Dan back in the mix. I think you're going to see Clouden definitely back in the mix. De Bont, starting the season off strong, could be back in the mix. Let's see what drivers return.
MSA's coming back.
Maybe Will Friedman coming back as well. Rosowski.
Yeah.
Could be a shout because he came in late this season. Langley up in the gold category. It's going to be an interesting season to be fair as well. To be fair, no, because he's just retracted his message, so I can't see what he was going to put. So this is the fight then, closest fight on track for second place into the final 2 minutes of the season, Kelly.
Yes, absolutely, and it gone quickly, and it gone really quickly, and like time seems to. So we've had some great racing, another great season here at Simplay. This channel, I've been involved in it from very early on, and I've got nothing but love and pride for this channel and all the things we do. This is what I do for fun, Matt, and I've been doing it for 5 years, and long may it continue, just with a new steering wheel and pedals.
And pedals. I tell you what, I'm going to get my driver of the day out there earlier. I'm going to go De Bont. A race winning at the minute to P2. I think he's had a solid night. I'm going to give my driver of the day to De Bont for tonight. I think he's been fantastic this evening. He really has been good. Honourable mention to O'Reilly, to Dan, to Ben Rook. Cloudens look good. Ramsell and McGowan. Brilliant drives. McGowan got the podium in race 1 as well. Great drives for them too. But I'm going to go the way of De Bont.
I think I'm going to have to agree with you on that one, and that's what I was leaning towards. He's been right in this. He's been quick. He's been fair. Driven a fantastic race. I mean, not taking anything away from Kieran O'Reilly or Ben Rook or anybody else for that matter. But certainly honourable mentions to the guys you said: Kieran O'Reilly, Ramsell, McGowan. Some great drives up and down the grid again.
Again, indeed. Well, we're on the final lap of the season. O'Reilly's approaching McLean's. De Bont just now pulling clear of Ben Rook. The championship seems sealed, and it looks like O'Reilly is going to be a double champion this season. The Hugh Darren Cup and the Pro Champion. His first Pro Championship as well to his name, becoming a 3-time champion. And I think possibly then, I think he's either tied with Fury, Joseph Bates, or one behind Joseph Bates, but he's He's 2 behind myself. He's 7 behind Dan Davis. But he's got many a championship in him, I reckon. Kieran O'Reilly already weaving down the straights. He knows he's done it. We're watching him through the Melbourne Loop for the final time this season as he exits that. One more corner to go. He's worked hard. He came into pro a few seasons back in the Ford Mustang. Didn't really do anything that season. Took a race win at the very last chance of asking. He had a tough season in the Aston, a tough season in the Honda. The Honda's back on top at Simplay. Kieran O'Reilly is your pro champion for season 8 here on ACC. De Bont with a solid second place ahead of Ben Rook in P3. A great drive between them all, and what a season it has been.
Yes, indeed, and big congratulations to Kieran O'Reilly. There's a new sheriff in town with double championships this year. Ironed out those little mistakes he was making last year. He was quick and he was giving the MSA boys and Dan a hard time last season, but there was still those little mistakes. But it's got to be said, he's drove absolutely fantastically this year, and I think is a very deserving champion. With what he's done. Dan comes up to give him the flash of the lights to acknowledge what he's done. At the end of the day, as I said, this is what we all do for fun, and it's a worthy champion for sure.
100%. Mike Matthews, the gold winner in this race. Cairns come across for 9th after all his injuries recent weeks. Great to see him back out on the circuit. Not sure what's happened to Cordno, by the way. He's dropped down to last place, so not sure what's happened to him as Ramsell crosses line. Millington does so behind. There's Ledger. We just wait for Hibbs and Cordno. Cordno's had a problem of some sort, not sure what. Stordog 13th. Clouden to take P5 in this one. McGowan crossed the line. Oh, I pressed the wrong button there. McGowan crossed the line in P8 with fastest lap. Great night for McGowan. Cordno then down in 18th. Leger P11. No Williams in this race, sadly. Cairns was P9. Rosowski crossed the line in P6. Harris in the Audi P14. I'm sure that one's one for the bonfire at the end of this season. But right, while you guys can still vote for the driver of the season, we'll be back in just a moment as we head into the Discord chat.
Green line. Give it all you got.